Good evening, viewers, and welcome to race 187 here of the AOSC10. We are back from Long Beach, and I'm Matty Kavanagh, and joining me in the commentary tonight, of course, is Matthew Norris. Welcome.
G'day, Dan. Dan. G'day, Matty. How are we?
Oh, delete him from your memory tonight. Well, we won't be able to delete him because Mr. Leet is actually out there racing tonight. And surprise, surprise, I'm going to say one nice thing before we get underway and rag him a bit tonight is that he's actually put a lap together. So we'll see how he goes. But, of course, it is a single lap qualifier here tonight, which is going to be super interesting here at Long Beach with so much concrete. Race circuit, which means, you know, lots of understeer, hard to get traction. There's not a lot of room either, especially you see up on screen, they're starting to go through these. That's Mr. Delete up there right now. He's, give us a wave, Dan, if you're in the cockpit can hear us. But yeah, as he's getting around out there, that roundabout's going to be super tricky. Plenty of things here, the pit exit as well. Norrie, that's going to be another one there, especially coming out there, you've got to go all the way down the end before a hard, sharp left-hand corner. But the street circuits always pose a fair bit of a challenge for our drivers, and it really separates the men from the boys.
Absolutely. Having the concrete side by side with the road, there is literally no runoff. If they hit concrete, that is it. Day out, day done. So everyone's going to be on their top of the game tonight, and you'll see it with some of our drivers. Some of them will shy away a little bit. The other ones who aren't afraid, they'll put 100% to the effort, and they will shine tonight.
Very easy to lock up a break here too. That's the other thing with the street circuit. It should rubber up though as we go throughout the night, and that will start to pick things up. But as you can see, our single lap qualifiers out there, and a couple of them on screen. Rob Bowden, who we had on the pre-show this week, good to see him out there and having a go. Unfortunately, hasn't made the top 10. Of course, when we talk top 10, it's not a top 10 shootout. It is a single lap qualifier. But what we do is the 10 fastest in pre-qualifying will get to go last one by one, and we'll get them up on screen and televise them, because they get the opportunity to see what the other guys have done and how far they push it. And especially with what can go wrong around this track, remembering in qualifying you brush a wall or go over a ripple strip too much, which is so easy to do at this circuit, that will null and void your qualifying lap. So, you know, we speak about people sandbagging it possibly. Do they hold back a bit just to make sure they get a lap in? Well, if you're the last to go, you can tell that by the time. So how hard do you need to push, or you know, how content are you at pushing those limits to get around here at Long Beach? First times are coming up now as we start to get some up here. Reese Keane is the first one to get a full lap in. Harry Dodd's just behind him, so that's 1 and 2. And Mr. Keane gets a 1:19.79, which isn't a bad lap around here, actually, Norrie, because we've seen some 1:18s, though, in the practice qualifying sessions.
Yeah, we saw some 1:18s, and obviously these are the guys from 11th back. So these guys were just a little bit off in qualifying. But to get a 1:18 around a concrete line street circuit, you're doing a fantastic job.
Yeah, I think when you're 1:18, you're a standout there, as we see Jamie Dyke just slots in the third fastest at the moment with a 1:19.81. It's a 1:19.79 for Reese Keane, and Logan Barnett from the Frog Leap Racing Team to 1:19.47 as we start to see a few more complete their laps. We're waiting to see what Daniel Leet does. That's really all we want to know, isn't it, Norrie? Because, you know...
Oh, he's locked up.
But he's made the hairpin. A tricky hairpin to do, actually, because if you get it wrong, you can go very wide, and then you're going to get a little bit of damage on the outside. Now, remembering, oh, look, a 1:19. So he's actually not that bad, because we only saw him do a 1:20 earlier. So Mr. Delete, he will be pretty chuffed about that, I reckon. He's in the field and currently sitting 13th fastest up on our timing screens. As right now, though, we head to Kyle Stokes from the Synergy Sim Racing, who's coming around to complete a lap. And, I mean, Kyle's had some good races throughout the series. Hasn't been at all of them from memory, but the JK Signs entry, of course, another little lock up there, which is going to be... We're going to see that quite a bit. Now, Norrie, overtaking, there isn't a lot of opportunity here, and it's going to be very risky wherever you try and make it happen.
So, like other circuits where we go to, where a pass can sort of half happen, half not, we saw that at other racetracks like, you know, Hockenheim and a few others. The move could half be on. At a street circuit, no, absolutely, 100%. You've got to make the move, or you've got to get out of it, because your competitor on the outside or inside will not give you the room, and the concrete's definitely not going to move for you.
No, and one thing I noticed too is going through those corners is there are quite a few tyre barriers there which will suck you in if you hit them, and you know, if you go in and bounce off them as well. So then you could be in the path of a lot of other people, because not wide roads either, as you can see us changing the camera angles around here. It's not very wide, so That can cause a lot of dramas like we saw last week with that turn 1 incident where one car goes sideways and everyone else has absolutely nowhere to go. Wade Sheedy up on your screen at the moment from the Premier Racing team. He's just gone around and he is in 8th place at the moment with a 120.32. So Kyle Stokes ended up in 2nd place at the moment with a 119.57. Now, he came off finishing 9th. He is actually 9th in the championship at the moment, Kyle Stokes. So, you know, he's got something to prove here and see if he can get some more points in that championship. Of course, James Scott leading. Cory Sheppard is 2nd in the championship. Then the DPRSimRigs.com boys, Dyson and Adam Briggs are 3rd and 4th. Jordan Ross from the Synergy Sim Racing is back into his 5th position after last week, having that fantastic 2nd place finish. So he's at a 3rd and a 2nd. Now, qualifying's coming around, and we can tell you that James Scott and Cory Sheppard, of course, are battling it out for that pole position once again, and they're going to be sitting there. Sheppard, obviously, is going to be the second last car out, with Scott being the final car out in this one in the single lap shootout, which we'll see throughout at our broadcast. Now, Sheppard has out-qualified Scott for the last 2 races.
And in the previous pre-qualifying session, just before we got into this session, he was on a 118.14 versus James Scott's 118.12. So it is really just about the tenths of the second of getting your accelerator down tonight to see who's going to get that elusive pole position. Does Cory get 3 in a row, or is it James returning to form?
Yeah, that's exactly right. Will he return to form? So I'm just having a look up here at our time machines. Looks like, look, it's probably the first and last time that we're going to say it tonight. Mr. Daniel Leader's in the top 20.
I think he might have to go and grab some of the Gerberus down at the roundabout because it's going to be late home tonight.
It's going to be a late night. Okay, let's start off. So these are the 10th fastest out of pre-qualifying, and the 10th fastest was Brad Rattu in the EXG Motorsports entry. Will come out now, fully televised. These were the 10th fastest in pre-qualifying. They will get their lone qualifier broadcast. They come out after everybody else, so they know what time they have to beat. And that time is Logan Barnett from Frog Leap Racing with a 119.47. So obviously, Brad Rattu is going to have his outlap. He'll have a chance to warm the tyres up, get those brakes hot, just get a feel for the circuit once again. They've probably already spent about an hour to an hour and a half getting around here and checking everything out. But I can tell you, this afternoon I jumped on Norrie for about half an hour. I got 1 lap without hitting something. Got plenty of other laps in. None of them clean, and that's the problem you're going to have here come qualifying, is it has to be a clean lap.
See, that's a problem. That's a problem, Matty. If you saw my my lap I did in the pre-show, it probably took about 50 goes to get that 1 lap where I didn't hit a wall. So it's incredibly complex to get around this circuit, and you can see as we're making our way through these corners here with Ratto onto East Seaside Way, a lot of these corners are off camber too, so the concrete wall sort of sucks you in, sort of thing. You got to be really committed and make sure you got the tyre grip.
And there's no forgiveness when it comes to runoff. Like you got a little bit of a runoff area, but that's run and done. If you lock the brakes up, which is quite easy to do on the street circuit, you will run off and basically, kiss this qualifier goodbye. You'll end up wherever you end up, and you'll have to battle through. And that's the biggest thing. You've then got to battle through without those opportunities for overtaking. Okay, Brad Ratto now about to get underway with his flying lap, and I noticed Norrie, he goes wide, so he gets a little bit more acceleration as he comes around onto this one flying lap he's got. So let's see what Brad Ratto has in him. Can he beat a 119.47? Kyle Stokes with 119.57 and 119.79 for Reese Keane. The 1, 2, 3 locks up the brakes there and all that. You get over those painted lines too, that can't be good, but you are going to see that too. A lot of people hard under brakes are going to slide these cars into the corner. I mean, it's a single lap qualifier. Tyres aren't an issue as long as they hold on. Was that it? Was that a touch?
I saw a spark off that one, so I'm no doubt doubting.
I'm having a look on the event screen. I can't see it. I think he may have just pulled that one up. That is super lucky for Brad as he goes around here. Now, you got to be careful right here, though, as you come around out of the down to Pine Avenue, because that's pretty rough. And as you try to get full acceleration, it will excite the tyres. He locks up the front and that tyre barrier. Oh, it's another one. So easy to grab that tyre barrier at that point. Now we've got to go down Seaside Way and head down to Firestone Turn. Hard under brakes again, and we'll watch him try and pull this one up. Right up over the curb as well.
It's a good thing I don't have any fingernails, because they would all be gone after watching all these laps in the top shootout.
Got to get this right too. You don't turn the steering wheel enough, you're going to brush that outside walls. That's another thing they need to be careful of. So Brad Ratto, as he comes across, will he beat a 119.468? And looks like he is going to go. We're going to see what it comes up. And no, it is a 120.53, puts him back into 10th fastest at the moment. So like we say, it is not a top 10 shootout. It is the fastest 10 from qualifying going on a single lap shootout. And Adam Briggs is out there right now in the number 72 car. Now, Briggsy, he's had some challenging weeks, hasn't he, Norrie? I mean, he's been involved in some incidents, put him down the field. He's had to really put a lot of wear and tear on the tyres to try and get back through in the last 2 rounds. He's managed to get some results, though, despite they get back in the top 10 last week. He finished 8th, but he's got to hold on to that 4th spot in the championship with Jordan Ross on a hard charge. Let's see how he goes now in the single lap qualifier for him.
And that's the thing, though. The Simbriggs DPR cars haven't really had the qualifying speed, but the race speed has been fantastic. So if Adam Briggs can grab the pace out of this car in this qualifying lap, he's doing quite a tidy job through these 3rd and 4th corners. If he can get the qualifying speed out of it, he might qualify towards the front, and then the race pace will be used at the front of the field.
Yep, the side mirrors are disposable here at Long Beach. Oh, so close there as he goes through. Be careful here now, though, as he goes down Pine Avenue. You have to really be gentle on the accelerator as you go up over the little peak there. It comes around, misses that tyre barrier. He actually had quite a bit of room there, which is good. He's holding on to this one. You watch them, though. They slide the car around here, don't they, Norrie? And we noticed that in your lap in the pre-show is there's a lot of sliding of the car happening to try and pull it up or just get it around the corners here as Briggs now down to the last couple of corners here. Heads into the hairpin after this left hand. It'll be a right-hand hairpin. Let's see how he goes. So much of the suspension copping and absolute beating around those final couple of corners. Let's see how he goes. He's coming through. Sector times obviously a green for him. Goes purple sector in the last one. And we wait for the time to come up. He goes P2 up behind Logan Barnett with a 119.56. So let's go. Logan Barnett from Frog Leap Racing might end up in the first couple of rows in the grid here if he can maintain this. And this is the interesting thing about the single lap shootout is it doesn't matter what you do in qualifying, it's what you do in the single lap shootout. Damian Johnson, though, is on screen at the moment, and he has been another one, Norrie, who has had some really good pace when it comes to racing. Hasn't always been up there in the qualifying, but he's always hovering around that top 10 mark. So we'll see what he has to do tonight. But he's got to beat a 119.47 at the moment. And the good thing about him is the first 2 people who've gone out before him haven't beaten that time. So if he goes to the top, he's definitely going to be up there in the first 4 rows.
Yeah, and you saw that thing as Damien started his lap. He sort of made that last corner a bit longer, got a bit more straight line out of it, so he can really maximise the throttle and get so much that little extra 10th on the main straight, which is a bit of a curve at this circuit.
Yeah, having a fair bit of feedback, I reckon, is the trick to these street circuits. He goes purple sector and sector 1, so fastest first sector in this little qualifying session, of course. So Damien Johnson is the 8th there. Lock up, slides the car too. Using everything he can, putting it all on the line at the moment, not holding back. So he was the 8th fastest there. So he's the 3rd car to be televised here as a single lap shootout. Coming down to the final parts of the lap. We've just got a few corners left to go here, a couple of left-handers, and then it's that hard right-hander. Only a short little circuit here tonight, 3.17 kilometres. We've got 47 laps to get around. Let's see what he goes. Wasn't his best 3rd sector there, as you can see. He slid the car around, lock up on the brakes. And where will Damien Johnson goes to P1 with a 119.407 hundredths of a second is the difference between him and Logan Barnett. So he moves into P1 at the moment as Aaron Dodd hits the track. All right, let's see what Dottie can do. Bad luck last week, got involved in that incident. Again, the concrete walls, there was nowhere for him to go, and unfortunately he retired early from the race last week, very, very early. And both the NSR Esports cars did that. Dylan Rudd and Aaron Dodd both unfortunate, and his teammate Dylan Rudd the week before was in the same predicament, really, out due to damage and not really caused by himself. And tonight, remember, we've only got one fast repair, so they'll be seeing what happens tonight, and that's the thing. You've only got one fast repair, so you really need to maintain the cars and look after them out there the best you can. It's going to be really tricky going through here, through the roundabout as well. As he goes a little bit wide there, doesn't really hug up on the curb, Norrie, slides the car, sparks. Oh no, wipes off a bit of that livery on the back.
I saw sparks, but I didn't see the incident come up, so maybe he's got away with it, but Yeah, he's got to be ultra committed to this lap. Both the NSR esports cars have been on the rise in the last couple of weeks, besides the ones we've been cursing on the pre-show. But he's making a solid run of this lap. He's really putting every millimeter out there on show.
Yeah, and that was just the wing, I reckon, scraping before, wasn't the back quarter. It's all good. Doesn't look that bad. Of course, damage turned on tonight. Those fast repairs will be really important if there is some sort of major incident at the start of the race. 47 laps, quite a few to get around, actually, considering how much concrete there is. Just a short lap, like we did say, only 3.17 kilometres. Here we go. He's just coming out to the final parts. We haven't seen a purple sector time, so be interesting to see where Aaron Dodd finishes up. He was 7th fastest in the previous session, and that's why you see him up here in the single lap shootout for the televised section, and Aaron will end up in 5th fastest there with a 1:19.57, which actually equals Kyle Stokes. So there'll be some thousandths of a second difference there, which I don't have up on my screen. But here we go. Now, someone who has been fairly impressive, actually, and again, just seems to have some issues with his strategy, as in his strategy is on point, but safety cars, incidents, things like that, just means it upsets the strategy that he's put down. So Tom Frere, let's see how he goes. He's been strong in qualifying the last couple of weeks as well. Definitely been in the top 10 both times. The pace of the car has been absolutely fine. So Tom Frere he's ready for a podium, I reckon. Norrie? Oh no, that's really going to hurt him as he slides it into the first corner. So he definitely wasn't sandbagging or holding back there. He was really pushing like 110%.
And you saw that in the pre-show when I was sliding the car around. They're just so hard to get that grip down and find the right part of the track to get the wheel turned, and so you don't get that slide. So it's incredibly difficult, and Tom's there been trying to put on 110%. Unfortunately, it's backfired for him, and that is going to hurt his lap.
You see, just nearly excites the tyres. He scrubs the wall there as well. And notice just before there, as he went down that little back straight before Pine Avenue, he didn't use that little outer area, which I've seen a lot of the people go right out and risk their side mirrors. But let's see how he goes to finish this lap under brakes. It's not going to be his best lap, unfortunately, for the JK Science 707 from Synergy Sim Racing. But Tom Frere will get himself a time. He'll finish this lap off because he is a professional, and he has pushed hard in the opening parts of the lap. Unfortunately, hasn't paid off for him. He gets a nice turn there done on the hairpin, actually, so he gets a nice drive out of it, and he's decided that no, he is just going to pit lane this one and not worry about it. So let's have a look. Brian Borg is on track at the moment, and of course we've seen a couple of new stickers on the livery for him. Of course, Racecraft on board, which we have seen before, but the 017 of Borgie, Norrie, has not been really fast in qualifying the last few rounds.
No, Bengal Borgie has had some problems from last round and a few before that. So I'm really hoping this week Borgie can straighten that out and put that all behind him. We know he's fast. His teammate's right up there. He does the old racers trick and makes the corner a bit longer. Sorry, the straight a bit longer, so he gets more acceleration. And he's going to be off after this one. He's got a teammate who's right up the front. So Borgie, go join your teammate.
Yeah, see how Borgie, he needs a bit of luck, I think. He just needs to be on the first couple of rows to stay out of what could be a very interesting opening couple of laps here at Long Beach with the concrete jungle, and he gets through the first corner. So you know that initial little bit as he slides the car a little bit there under brakes, but he didn't brush the wall that time by the looks of it in the 017. Gets it out nice and wide here too, uses all of the road that he possibly can up over the ripple strip, slides the car a little bit, misses the tyre barrier though. How far out will he go? Will he use this a little bit? Yes, he does. He gets right out there, hard under brakes now as he pushes the car into the corner. The left-hander as they head up Pine Avenue. Doesn't go out too wide there, pulls it back across to the left. He has to get ready for this right-hander now. You need to miss the tyre barrier. So easy just to grab the back end of the car on that tyre barrier, which will spin you around very, very quickly. But he gets down Seaside Way. Borgie, he's in for a good one. He's got a purple sector 3 as well, Norrie. He's only got a few corners left to go in this lap.
It looks committed without being overstepping the mark, so he looks like he's really well composed on this lap. Brian Borg's going to put on something special right now.
Here we go. He's coming in to finalise this lap. Of course, he was 5th fastest earlier. Where will he end up? Will he beat Damien Johnson's 1:19.40? We're waiting to see as the times come up. Borgie completes his lap, and he goes a 1:19.55, which puts him 3rd fastest at the moment, Logan Barnett is the biggest talking point out of this because obviously he was in the group that had their single lap qualifier all at once. They had a period of time there to lay a single lap qualifier before our 10 fastest in pre-qualifying got to do their single lap on the coverage. Now, he topped the charts there, and now we've got, 5 cars gone slower than him already as we go into the final couple. Andrew Dyson now pulls it really wide here, looking for that real nice start here. As much traction as possible, grab himself an extra 5 or so meters in the run down the straight, maximize the speed. What comes with that, though, is very risky braking maneuver down here. Now, be careful that you don't get the right hand of the car or the driver's side on those lines, because as we know, it won't help under brakes. It looks like it doesn't affect him too much that time. He pulls it through the first corner there, nice and tight, but not too close to the walls. Gets through the roundabout. Doesn't get close enough to grab any flowers, though, for Mother's Day next weekend.
He was committed, but he left the garden alone, so he'll have to go back and get some through the race. But he might be trying to get a trophy. That might be a better consolation for Mother's Day for him.
Well, Mr. Dyson, he's sitting third in the championship at the moment. He's had some strong finishes as well. 2 purple sectors too, so this is looking like an impressive time. Will he overtake Damian Johnson for the number 1 position here in qualifying so far? Just remembering we've still got 3 people left to go, which is no surprise. The top 3 from the top 3 lately, as we've seen, we've still got Jordan Ross, Cory Sheppard and James Scott to go in this qualifying session. Andrew Dyson, though, 3 purple sectors. It's looking strong. Can he hold on to this one? He just needs to not make any sort of mistake. We've got him up on camera. Don't do it right now. Bring this one home, Dyso. Can he make it happen? Looking for a 1:19.40 or faster as he goes across. It looks like he's going to get it. A 1:18.81. Absolutely flying. The beard has parted the ways and given him the momentum that he needed there from Andrew Dyson, and a 1:18, the first of the drivers in our 1:18s so far in this qualifying, this single lap shootout qualifying session, is Jordan Ross now, who has come back from what has not been the best season for him. He started well in the middle part of this sort of, the first third to the second third of this season. He's just been involved in incidents, especially when it comes to the endurance racing. He always seems to just be in the mix there, but it looks like he has pulled it all together since the rebuild of the cars through iRacing, the new generations. These guys have really got the setup of the cars going really, really well, and Jordan Ross has been back dominating again in the top 5. Last week, he got a second. The week before was a third. Can he bring it home? Can we go third, second, first this week? Maybe we're going to see him on the top of the podium. We thought we might have last week when Cory Sheppard made that mistake, and James Scott Bradbury'd it in and got the win. But let's have a look at Jordan Ross now as he gets around in the 143 JK Sign Synergy Sim Racing car.
Bit of a luck up into that corner, but Jordan Ross is the lead Synergy Sim Racing car, so it's really the weight is on his shoulders to take the championship charge. Nudges the.
Maybe you don't talk, Norrie. Maybe you just don't talk at all.
Especially when Synergy cars are on this.
Oh, not the Synergy guys. Yes, I know. That just goes to show how committed he was to trying to put this lap together, because it is the smallest of things. And with these courses, it probably is that way where you just need to worry about your line more than trying to go. You'll go faster by just being smooth rather than pushing it, and that looks like he knows that incident will hurt him and will not get him a time. So he has pulled into the pits and he'll be kicking himself. Maybe time to grab himself a Red Bull or something and settle in for the race tonight. 47 laps around a tight circuit, and I've got money on the fact we're getting at least 2 safety cars. I said 3 in the pre-show, so we'll see how that goes. Cory Sheppard, he has out-qualified James Scott the last 2 weeks and almost brought it home last week. He ended up 4th after the last couple of laps, having a bit of a moment there where he went wide and missed the corner and then had to bail out and they got past him. But, this young man is super impressive. The maturity that he is just developing when it comes to racing is absolutely phenomenal for his age. Can't wait to see what he does. But Cory Sheppard now on his flying lap. He's the second last car to go out. Dyso is at a 1:18.81 in the Simrigs DPR car. What will the Mr. Antenna Falcon do? We'll have to find out as Cory Sheppard now comes into the first corner. Gets that one done clean. Look how close he is to the wall too, using everything up. Doesn't grab his mum any flowers. He gets close though. Almost could have. Just trying to keep it smooth. Sheppard needs to bring this one home. If he can get a 1:18, which he did a 1:18.14 as he goes close to the wall. He did a 118.14 in the previous qualifying, slides the car out. So now starting to get that confidence up, building the momentum. Hard on the brakes here.
It's not a Falcon, Matty. It's a Mustang.
Oh, Mustang, you know, like it's a Ford. I got a halfway there, didn't I? Right manufacturer. Here we go. Cory Sheppard now going down the Seaside Way, down the back straight basically. He's got 4 corners left to go in this one. 4 corners. A right-hander. He'll have a double left-hander here, and then it's the hairpin right-hander to finish things off. Hugs that corner down. He'll be back to first gear. Needs to get right up close. This one's looking good. 2 purple sectors in this one. This could happen. We're looking for a 118. He needs to beat a 118.81. Cory Sheppard comes around to complete his single lap qualifier here, the second last car to do so. And he's going to P1, a 118.63. So he's only got one other person. Will he be alongside James Scott on the front row? Will he be in front of him? Will something happen to James Scott? Because he has made some uncharacteristic mistakes, Norrie, in the last few weeks.
And that's the thing. James has been this phenomenal driver for these past couple of seasons in AOSC, but we've started to see the cracks appear. Chinks in the armour, if you will, and it's uncharacteristic to see that from James. So it's either a return to form or we keep seeing the cracks appear. He takes the really wide exit onto the last corner. He's maximising his straight, so he's got a lot of speed to make it into turn 1. This is a lap that James really needs to stand some authority on the AOSC and make sure his claim on the title is known.
He's leading the championship by, I'm looking at here, 430 points. But 330 points for a win means he's not home and hosed when it comes to championship. Cory Sheppard can still get it from him. And I'm hearing he's got something like 23. This is going for his 23rd pole position. So he's had 22 poles in AOSC. And I reckon out of this season, what are we at? We're at round number 12. I reckon 10 of those have come from here. So from this season. So that's super impressive as he uses all the road there on the right-hand side. Turns it down into Pine Avenue. Careful here. 2 purple sectors. This is already looking impressive, but anything can happen on a street circuit.
It just looks twitchy. It just looks like it's not settled. It looks like it's just lively and ready to go. So maybe that's the way James wants to drive it tonight around the concrete. It's going to be difficult, but like you say, 2 purples.
When we caught up with him earlier in the year, didn't we? When we later had a few words with him, he actually said he likes to slide the car around. He likes it a little bit loose. That's his driving style here. He just needs to pull it up, get around this right hander really tight. We're looking here, okay, 2 purple sectors, a green sector. What can James Scott do here? The final car in the single shootout, the single lap shootout goes to P1 once again, gets his 11th pole position here for AOSC10 at Long Beach, a 118.48. Cory Sheppard will be alongside him with a 118.63. Then Daiso back in 3rd. Damien Johnson in 4th. But Logan Barnett, now he was number 1. He was the best of the rest, basically, in the previous qualifying session before the top 10. He has ended up in 5th position, Norrie. So that is a great start for him. And he'll be on the 3rd row with Brian Borg alongside him.
The Frog Leap Racing team, guys, they've been punching above their weight, and this is really just a massive punch above their weight. I mean, they're doing a fantastic job. Logan really standing his ground, and like you said, he was there before the top 10 guys got their run at it. So he was part of that bottom 11 crew, and he's turned that into a phenomenal lap. So it's a massive well done to him and the Frog Leap team.
Well, the biggest thing here, too, to talk about is a couple that were in the top 10 doing the single lap shootout originally had some brushes with the walls, and that unfortunately null and voids their lap. So Tom Freer is one of those, and another fast one is Jordan Ross. So those 2 Synergy Sim Racing guys are going to be somewhere up the back there. I'm just having a look as we sort of get there to come up. So Tom Freer will start out at 25, and Jordan Ross will start out at 27. But a familiar name that is going to be down the back is Michael T. Mickey T. Michael Teliantich will be out of 24, and he's made 44 positions, didn't we say, in the last 2 weeks. So very impressive. All right, there you go. Row number 1, James Scott with Cory Sheppard alongside. Andrew Dyson and Damien Johnson will be on row 2. Logan Barnett and Brian Borg will fill row 3 up. Then we go back to row 4, Adam Briggs and Kyle Stokes. Aaron Dodd and Reece Keenan row 5. Row 6 will be Jamie Dyke and Rob Bowden in the Tanked SRT team. Next up, it's going to be, though, I'm getting through here. It's Brenton Nitschke and Jaden Borg will be on row number 7. Wade Sheedy and Greg Shah from the Dakota Sim Sports will be there on row number 8. Brad Ratu, who started out 10th in the, was the first one to come up on our screens there for the qualifying single lap shootout in the top 10. He's in 17. Brad Doble alongside in 18. Harry Dodds in 19. Matthew Brunt in 20. Scott West in 21. Marty Hansen in 22. And Daniel Leet is not starting off the back. He is in 23, which means he is in row number 12 alongside Mickey T, of course, Michael Taliantich. Tom Freer and Thomas Hinds will be on row 13. Row 14 will be Jordan Ross and Sebastian Flock. 29 and 30 will be Tyson McEvoy and Scott Chambers and Braden O'Loughlin, Craig Healy on row number 16, 31 and 32 up the back there. So that will round out the 32 cars entered tonight, of course, in race 187 of AOSC. It's AOSC 10, season 10 that is, and all thanks to our great sponsors, Jinx Shifters. We couldn't do it without them, and the Jinx Shifters AOSC 10 well and truly in as this is round number 12. We've got 47 laps here at Long Beach. We've got 4 rounds left in the championship. James Scott leads, Cory Sheppard within striking distance. Then we've got Andrew Dyson, Adam Briggs and Jordan Ross. They're your top 5 in the championship. We're about to get underway. Let's see what happens on the start, and let's see how they go into turn number 1. Will Cory Sheppard get the jump because he's had some good starts? Looking back there, shocking start from Brian Borg, is it? No, that wasn't Frog League Racing. So that's actually Logan Barnett, who's had not the ideal start after starting out P5, which has been a great start for him. Now let's check out the first corner. James Scott's out there on the outside. Cory Sheppard on the inside here, which might not help Damien Johnson, who's on the outside. They give each other room. That's nice as they get through there. They need to sort it out, though, before they hit this little roundabout, really, where they can grab some flowers. It looks like we've got some smoke in the background. Not quite sure if we had any incidents. Cars rubbing a little bit of panel work here. They can brush the walls now. Now they can brush the walls. Let's have a look as they start to move up. Jordan Ross is up 7 positions. Tyson McEvoy is up 8 positions at the moment. Where is Dan Elite gone? This is he's back 7 positions. Control-Alt-Delete. That's what I'm saying. Just get out. Well, don't worry, we'll check out D-Elite in a second when we get to it, but they start to single file. Let's check out the replay now, and where is he in this mix? He's just being somewhere where he doesn't need to be, really, is what I'm thinking. Oh, there you go. Tom Freer at the back too. He's starting to push his way through. Here we go. 2 wide as they go through Rambo. Nowhere to be there. Shut from behind. Is that Jaden Borg?
Neville just stopped.
It's all just a Constantina effect. I mean, who's still going? I mean, is that a Toyota 86 or is that a Mustang? I don't know. It looks like a Toyota 86 the way they're all banged up, no boot.
Mustangs often look like 86s.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. That's Flock we can't see with the livery on. So, you know, I don't know what's going on. Don't know what's going on. Here we go. A little bit of break lock up there for Dyso there. Damien Johnson now in 3rd position. So he's got past Andrew Dyson after this first lap as I move into lap 32, and they're starting to ease away James Scott and Cory Sheppard. So Cory Sheppard will be looking to stay with him. I've still got money on safety cars. Not safety car, cars. I'm still saying cars. It's going to happen. Someone back in the background there looks like Adam Briggs as it went really wide there, I reckon. There we go. Jamie Dyke now with some issues there in the background. Plenty going on. Here we go. Dyso's going to try and make a move though on Johnson. Car gets a little bit loose, but he's on the outer line. Johnson down the inside. Need to be careful of those walls. Brian Borg, super experienced there in 5th position. He can just hang off the back here at the moment. He's got a little bit of breathing room going back to Adam Briggs and Logan Barnett. But look at these guys go down the back straight. Logan Barnett not giving up on Adam Briggs, and Aaron Dodd just in the background lurking to see if he can make a big move over a couple of them if something does happen in this race. He needs to be careful though, because Reece Keane behind him, Kyle Stokes, Rob Bowden now up to 11, made up a position as well. So this sort of pack from I'm going to say from 6 all the way back to about 12, still quite bunched up there. I was actually back to P11, still quite bunched up there, and anything could happen to this in the opening laps. We are 2 laps into 47 laps here at Long Beach, and it has already been interesting, but I missed out. No safety car first lap, which I was almost thought was going to happen, as we just see Logan Barnett brush the tyre wall there for a second. Super impressive in qualifying too at the moment. As we check out a bit of a replay here, and look as they come around. Brad Doble from the BDR Racing. The poor car's about 3 inches shorter. It's been banged up all over. And he goes through here through the roundabout. Nowhere to go there. Taliantich just spun out. Flock's involved in that one as well. Oh, it's all happening. Poor Brad Doble, he's another one that's been involved in a few incidents. Here we go. Let's check out the Taliancic incident. This is Taliancic going down, a brake lock up there. Who's that behind him? I'm just trying to see. That's Hins actually involved in that one. So him and Hins rub tyres, and something goes wrong. Taliancic gets hard on the brakes. So maybe he's trying to redress that or something. Flock has nowhere to go. And look, Delite's gone up a few places. I see him sneak by. Sneaky Delete. I don't know what's going to go on there. How are we going to get our Mother's Day flowers next weekend if Taliancic is going to take that out? Now, I think Mickey T just likes to give himself some hard work. So he wants to get right up the back. So the quick repairs will come into play. You only have one quick repair or fast repair in this one, don't you, Norrie? So going to be super interesting. And, you know, if we don't get a safety car, Norrie, what are we looking at? About, you know, how far into the race do you reckon we'll start to see the leaders pit?
If we don't get a safety car, it's probably going to be a bit later than we would have originally planned. Probably 25, 26 laps before you'll see us stop. But if we get a safety car, that can push it out a bit later to the late 20s or a high 30. But it shouldn't be too far after that.
Yeah, I think there's going to be a fair bit of tyre degradation with the lockups here. So they'll probably be pushing as far as they can go safely. Especially once they get in the rhythm of getting around here before they put some fresh tyres on for the run home. But up on your screen at the moment, Brian Borg just hanging off the back of Damien Johnson. Dyson's got that move back done in the 41. He's back up into P3. Scott and Shepard, they've just moved away from the field now. Not too much between those two, but they are 4.5 seconds in front of everyone else at the moment. Looking back into P17 now, Ross has made a big one here. He was in the top 10. From memory, came out of P6 there, but brushed the wall a couple of times. Null and voided his qualifying lap, unfortunately. He was pushing and pushing and pushing, putting everything he had into it. But he has restarted this race off the back and made his way through. Now, Jordan Ross is another one, 11 positions gained. So Jordan Ross is now up to P16, 11 positions in 5 laps. That's a Mickey T effort.
But you can't discount the cars that would have all crashed out in front of him. That's given him a few more passes than he's actually done. We saw on that second to last corner there that he was sort of making that half move. He really needs to get that move fully done tonight because not every competitor is going to be as friendly as they are down the back of the grid.
Yeah, you're going to get a mixture of people, aren't you? They know you're not going to get the move done, or you're going to get people who are just not going to want to get involved due to the, you know, just the way the circuit is being a street circuit and getting off the racing line there. Depending where you come around this corner here and turn onto Pine Avenue, just, you know, a metre or two to the left or the right means you actually get a lot smoother transition on the road and you can get the acceleration down a lot better. That 1 or 2 metres, getting that wrong line, and it's really easy to spin the tyres there as you put the accelerator down, and the car then wants to spin out on you. There's a big brake lock up here and into the wall there, and that looks like Frog Leap Racing. Logan Barnett, that dream start he had out of P5 is just dwindling away as he's down 13 positions, and the fast repair, he drops the clutch and does himself a filthy burnout. We love to see that as we check the replay out. Here he comes. It's down the back straight, seaside way now. Look for the braking markers. You're down probably 5th gear here. 500 metre braking mark. Yeah, he's late on the brakes, isn't he? He's missed that braking mark. Nowhere to go. The tyre barriers means, though, that the car does reverse up. It hasn't stopped. I think a concrete wall, and that would have been done. So we'll have another look at the replay. This is Daniel Leet involved. He's on the back. He's chasing around a wingless Scott Weston in front of him from Taipan Esports. Now, Daniel Leet applying some pressure here, and I wouldn't be worried if I was Weston. It's only D-Leet, but he does himself, and Danny gets past. Lucky Dan, we're going to call him from now on.
Lucky Leet.
Lucky Leet. Can you be as lucky as Leet? Lucky Leet, I like it. Tom Freer now carrying a heap of damage.
He's trying to make that move, and this is what I'm saying. You've got to be really up there because you can't just half have those moves. It's not going to happen. You've got to commit to it and actually make a commitment. It's not like your girlfriend. You can't just walk away.
Win it or bin it, isn't it, when you go to the overtake moves here? But a bit of a lock up from Wade Sheedy there as he tries to hold out Tom Freer. Tom Freer definitely has the pace. He just didn't quite get the move done here. He might go a little bit wide and try and come around the inside of him on this corner. But then Wade Sheedy will get the better run as they go back onto the main straight. So we come around to complete another lap here. Of course, 47 laps here tonight at Long Beach, and we are moving into the 7th lap. So basically about 41 laps left to go. And we're assuming that most people will start to come in. Those who haven't had to come in for repairs will start to come in from lap 20. Nori, you're saying sort of late 20, mid to late 20s, but from about lap 20, we're expecting the leaders could start to make that decision, pending a safety car.
I'm also expecting a safety car, so that sort of pushes my numbers further back.
We'll have to find out and see what happens here, because, I mean, Tom Freer probably hoping for a safety car, take that fast repair and get that downforce he needs on the back, because his wing is totally gone. And now, no, here's another one there. Who is that? Is that Reese Keane at the front? That looks like it might be him from the... Yep. Yeah, that's Reese Keane in the simrigs.com car. No downforce at all, which will make it pretty easy for Kyle Stokes to go past under brakes. So you need to remember, without that boot on and that wrist, well, something in the background. Who was that? Dyke and Jaden Borg, I reckon, in the background, a big brake lock-up. No, they've made it through. So I'm trying to see, it might be Brad Ratu who there in the background, who had a big lock-up there, and now he's under fire from Jordan Ross, trying to get another position. And Jordan Ross gets past him 14 positions. 14, yes, 1-4. He has gone past. Jamie Dyke looks like he has just dropped back a heap as well, so maybe some issues there. I can't see him in pit lane, so we'll have to see exactly what happens there as they start to move around. Kyle Stokes dropping back as well. Jordan Ross gets another move done in the 143 Synergy Sim Racing entry, and manages to get that done. A few scars on the side of that car, especially considering he started out at P27 all the way back there, and trying to grab his teammate to come through with him, Tom Freer, who's now in P15. So Synergy Sim Racing definitely have the setup right. They just unfortunately pushing super hard in that qualifier to try and get up the front, which they did have the pace for, Norrie, but unfortunately made contact with the walls, null and void your qualifying lap.
Unfortunately, it was me talking during their qualifying laps, which I think did it for them, but yeah, they were definitely up there and had the pace to be at the front of this field, and as you can see with the way they're moving through it tonight, they are definitely front runners in the series.
Briggs is starting to make his way back through. Of course, he started out at P7, now up to P6. Brian Borg in front of him, and Borgie's got a 2.5 second lead over him. Now, watch the experience of Borgie here. Just sitting on the back, he's had some shocking weeks. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. Borgie's had some really bad luck over the last few weeks. Will that change the way he races here at Long Beach with all this concrete? Will he just sit back, be a little bit more patient and wait for those opportunities as we head back down? Mickey T got plenty of damage on there. Michael Taliancic, he's been super fast in racing. He's made it very, very hard for himself the last couple of weeks. He has made 44 positions in 2 rounds. One of those was 32 positions. He went from 44 to 12th. And that was obviously back at Hockenheim. So he's done the hard work. That was an enduro though, mind you, but he did 12 positions last week at Charlotte in the 150k race. And at the moment, he's looking to try and get past Craig Healy in the Taipan Esports entry just in front. Goes around the outside, but on the inside, there's Tyson McAvoy in the One Performance Racing.
He's got a fair bit of damage on, and he's sitting basically 1 position ahead of where he started. So his lap gain advantage, or his car gain advantage, is just sitting at 45 at the moment. But undoubtedly, he'll be wanting to get that. He wanted to get the that boot repaired on that looks like a crumble door, and get it move as the car, Tyson McAvoy, hits the wall behind.
Now, I think I heard some murmurs on the race control channel there too that Mickey T might end up with a little bit of a penalty too earlier from that incident where we seen him hard on the brakes and where he was rubbing tyres with him. So we'll see what happens there as well. That could hurt him as well. Mind you, he's probably hoping... I think there's a heap of cars there. There's another bonnet missing. Heap of cars out here begging for a safety car. Like, we get a safety car now, they come in, grab that fast repair. Just 2 for 1, get the pit stop done, grab the fast repair. Because, yeah, it's definitely going to affect the aero around here, especially when you got those big walls out there. It's not big open fields either, so it's really going to hurt them come under braking, especially with the greasiness of a street circuit. The more downforce you can get, the better. As Mickey T gets past, Michael Taliancic in the 777 makes himself another position there and moves up. Craig Healy holding on. Tyson McAvoy has made a couple of errors there, but he's managed to make it back. So he's definitely, when he gets back underway, has some pace on him. Marty Hansen's crashed too. Daniel Leit's crashed. Where has Daniel Leit crashed? I need to find this. It's coming up on my event screen. Oh, he's made an error. He's got to stop using his PlayStation controller and start using his steering wheel. That's all I'm saying. Let's check it out in the replay. We wouldn't want to embarrass the lead as he locks the tyres up and just overshoots the corner, just cooks it. actually wasn't that bad, Norrie.
No, it was quite tame. He did make a point though before we recorded the pre-show about how many people are going to use the runoff exit. So I guess Delete has done one runoff exit. Well done, Daniel.
Well, we haven't been able to rag him for too much. Actually, he's impressed us because, well, he made it. He made it into the field. I'm looking at the times, Norrie. I wouldn't have made it. I know that.
He impressed you. I'm still not impressed.
Rob Baden there gives himself a position, goes past Reese Keane, and up 4 positions now into P8 in the Tanked SRT team. We spoke to him this week on the pre-show, and it was great to get some feedback. And in real life, he's got into the BMW racing, so unfortunately he's missed a couple of rounds due to some commitments there. And I do believe that next weekend he's heading up to Wakefield, so very interesting. You get the BMWs, a lot more balanced than you see the supercars up here as we check out the replay on screen now. Looks like Sebastian Flock around the outside. Michael Talianchis on the inside and makes contact. Oh, is that not Talianchis? No, it's not actually. But Sebastian Flock there is the one that will end up hurt out of that one. Yes, Logan Barnett has crashed again as well. So it's all happening up here at Long Beach. It's definitely one of those circuits where you need to be super careful getting around. We've had plenty of contacts. Oh, nudge in the rear end that unsettles the car. And Logan Barnett, I hope he didn't waste any money on a lotto ticket this week because he has had absolutely no luck.
Well, the luck was getting into the top half of the field for qualifying, but it all just went sideways after that.
That's like getting the first 2 numbers in lotto and then getting nothing after that. Isn't it really? So,
Isn't that the way lotto works?
Yeah. Oh, he's got his hopes up, and unfortunately, and that really wasn't his fault either, like the car gets only this. All you got to do is take a little bit of weight off those rear tyres and under brakes, and the car is going to slide into the corner. And very easy to try to lose control, really. All right, as we get up on screen though, Briggsy's back in P6, and well, he's holding on the Simbriggs DPR car. Right behind him, Aaron Dodd has just slotted in under that rear wing. Now, he's up a couple of positions. No need to push it because we know Briggsy has been reasonably quick when it comes to race pace. So we just need to see if he can start to make some moves there. Briggsy, the car in front is actually a lap car. That looks like Jamie Dyke in the Fishy Motorsports there in front. But Brian Borg's actually up in front of him on the ladder at the moment in P5. As we head back, is that Jaden Borg we've got up on screen. Jordan Ross is on the back of him. So Jordan Ross, 16 positions gained now up to P11 and all over the back of Jaden Borg in the Coda Sim Sport entry. And if Jordan Ross can get this move done, that will put him up into P10. Just in front though is, he's not far away. He could grab himself 2 or 3 positions over the next couple of laps, maybe before the pit stop sort of window starts to open up, Norrie, and that'd be a great start for Jordan Ross.
And that's going to be helpful for once he's got that pace back in the car and he's spotted back up to the point end of the grid, lock up ahead for Jaden Borg. But he's going to relish being at the front of this grid and being able to make it.
I'll let you finish.
I was going to, just make it through the grid and get back up to the front end of this grid because he needs to get some points as the lead Synergy car is currently Damien Johnston up in 4th.
Yeah, so we're going to go to a replay now. Adam Briggs now, he has come through and had a little bit of a mischief here and put himself back a position. So a bit of patience always pays off with the cars behind. So Jamie Dyke moves to the side. He's a lap car. And Briggsy locks it up, and that's where it happened there. Okay, so that's why Aaron Dodd has got past him in the NSR Esports car. So we're just having a look at Adam Briggs will slot back into P7 where he started. So not too bad from now. Car number 52 has got himself a little bit of a penalty there for being naughty, Scott Weston. And he was carrying a heap of damage too there, which I think might be that contact he made with Sebastian Flock a little bit earlier, which we did see up in the replay, which was here.
Safety car.
Oh, the first of the yellow flashing lights, and they are all going to come and take advantage of this one because look at the damage rolling in. A panel beater's dream is what that is if it was real life. I don't know what you call it when it comes to simulator racing. It's not a panel beater's dream.
It's still cash registers ringing.
Yeah. James Scott still leading us. Cory Sheppard not letting him go though. Like that's one thing I noticed this week is James Scott is not just walking away with that lead at all. Cory Sheppard definitely has the pace to stay with him. And if I was Cory after the last couple of weeks, James Scott has made a mistake. And it's happened more than twice actually. It happened earlier in the season as well. So I think if you can just stay there and stay on the back of James Scott and keep pace with him, just hope that maybe something will happen as the Jinx Shifty safety car has been deployed. It is at pit exit, that sharp left-hand you got to take once you come down the pit exit road, and waiting for our leaders to come around. But will James Scott and Cory Sheppard come in the pits? It looks like they are going to. So, Norrie,
yes.
No safety car. Can they make it home from here?
No. That they might, but it would be. I mean, what are we on lap 14? Okay, we can push it with a couple of laps of safety car. But you're making a fantastic point there. I really want to push on that one. James Scott and Cory Sheppard. If Cory stays with James on this restart, he can really apply the pressure. At a street circuit, when James has been making mistakes, Cory can really maximise on that.
So safety car waiting for our leaders. They're all in the pits. Everyone's going in. And I'm with you, Norrie. You can make it home on fuel, especially if you get a couple of laps behind the safety car, right?
Yeah.
My concern really is going to be tyres, because the amount of lockups we see on the street circuit, how much they're pushing them, sliding the cars. The new build, the tyre degradation is quite high sometimes when it comes to those sorts of races. So I have a feeling tyres are going to be the limiting factor, not the fuel. I think they'll get them home.
And that's the thing. They might sort of torture the tyres a bit, as we see Tally Engines with a nice fixed boot. They might torture the tyres a bit, but it's all going to be about how much pressure they keep applying to them. Because around this circuit, they should be able to minimise those lockups if they keep within their boundaries.
So, Cory Sheppard, for me, is in the prime seat, because he can probably minimise those lockups while applying pressure to James Scott now. Scott, though, super experienced, seems to be very cool under pressure, because we've seen this happen before where he gets defensive, just holds out Sheppard, who's definitely had a faster car or enough fuel to get home, but Scott's managed to bring that home, so that the experience he's showing and is going to be hard to beat. However, Cory Sheppard learns every week. He's young, he's eager, and he's a sponge when it comes to learning that racecraft. And by sitting behind James Scott race after race after race, he is learning that racecraft. It comes from teammates like Brian Borg, who is super defensive and can explain, what he does and how he's doing it. But sitting behind James Scott would be an absolute schooling, really, for this season.
And you've said it perfectly before in the pre-show. The maturity has risen this year. The maturity of following James Scott and just being in that top echelon of drivers. He's learning every week, and he knows exactly what to do. At a concrete canyon circuit, when James is making a mistake, I can't stress the point enough. He needs to apply the pressure like a blowtorch.
He's going to have a couple of laps to do that, and then you'll probably have to settle it behind, because you're not going to want to... You want to keep that pressure on, but you're not going to want to cause an issue there. As Jordan Ross is all fixed up now. He's had the fast repair, but it's put him back quite a few positions. They're back to P24. So he started out at P27. He's in position 24 now in the Synergy Sim Racing. Now leading the Synergy Sim charge out of position 5 in the championship at the moment. So you'll be looking. And what's happening here is our safety car. Is our safety car driver, is Dan jumped in there? What do we got? Is Dan back in the lead of the safety car driver? I don't know what's going on. Let's have a look at the replay now of the Jinx Shifters safety car and find out what happened. Maybe we're just falling asleep. We're going too slow. No, it looks like we've got a lap car. Is that Jamie Dyke coming through? He's just gone too wide. He's just bungled it up. James Scott doesn't know what to do. I mean, what do you do if you're James Scott? Now we're going to have to get the field back in. Race control have got a fair bit of work to do here. The Jinx Shifters AMG safety car, not the best at turning right.
We used to rag on Nick Huesler when he failed to make corners in the safety car. Scott Chambers, you have got a long list of resumes to write.
That's going in the bloopers reel for AOSC10. Definitely in the bloopers reel. Oh, do we get a fast repair on the safety cars? Can we get one done?
Maybe he should move to production next season.
Yeah. Nick's going to have an offside production next year, and we'll have to find another safety car driver. I'll tell you what, I reckon Mr. Leet, Lucky Leet, could probably do a few laps in the safety car. Maybe he could do it as well as commentary. That'd be fantastic, I reckon.
Lucky Leet's got some fantastic drivers around him. He's got a couple of places back Talianchich and a couple of places back Jordan Ross. So Lucky Leet's in some lucky company as we're going to get this race restarted. James Scott and Cory Sheppard This is the part of the race you do not want to shield your eyes from. Watch this one. Tune in.
Yeah, we get that turn down as it looks like they are heading down the back here towards the back straight, and it is, of course, Pine Avenue. They all start to turn into normally a road really here around Long Beach, and that's what makes it very interesting, the road circuits. And not a lot you can see. You can't see, there's no runoff either, is there? And you got those little runoff areas. They're very select. They're designed to capture the car, but it still slows you down, gives you an opportunity though. If you miss brakes, stop turning. Just try and go straight ahead, pull it up in the braking area, turn the car around, get back on with the race, minimise the damage. All right, race restart about to happen. The Jinx Shifters safety car, if it makes the final corner, will be off the track in time for James Scott to restart this race. They can get away anywhere from the final couple of corners here. So it's the second last corner, the double left-hander, the second of the left-handers, all the way through the hairpin and down the straight. They can restart that race anywhere there. I expect James Scott's going to go wide here. Oh, no, he pulls it in tight. He's
going to go now.
He's going to go now for sure, and he gets away, and Cory Sheppard will follow him. He's done a good job, Shepard, there, not to let him get too far away, because James Scott has definitely dominated the restarts. Really knows where he can maximise the acceleration out of that car every time we get back underway with the race here in AOSC. And we get back into race conditions. We have 16 laps completed. We are on lap number 17 at the moment as they take off, and it's single file, which is probably a bit of a reprieve for some of these drivers who were caught up 2 and 3 wide trying to go into that roundabout there a little bit earlier. And as they head out now, though, it's a little bit of pressure off. Cars have had fresh tyres. They're fueled up, so they're going to be a bit heavier, you know, depending on what fuel load they took to start with. They're going to have a bit of weight in them, which will probably help them here on the street circuit. But everyone's got the aero back. They've got the wings back on. They've got the front spoilers back on. There's no wheels hanging out. And we've got a bit more downforce. So let's see how they go. Now we're back into racing here at the Jinx Shifters. AOSC10 race 187. It is round number 12 coming here from Long Beach. If you just joined us here on the telecast or the broadcast, whatever you want to call them, get a bit old school there. But Damien Johnson up into P4 at the moment, and you can see him in the background sliding around. Cory Sheppard, though, needs to apply this pressure to James Scott. He needs to get right under him, because James Scott has made those uncharacteristic errors in the last few rounds and a bit earlier on in the season as well. So pressure, pressure, pressure if you're out there, Shepard.
You can see Rob Bowden applying the pressure there to Adam Briggs, and that's a great run of form from Rob Bowden. We had him on the pre-show this week, and he talked about how form has been building for these guys at Tanked SRT, and you can see that tonight. He's applying the pressure to the Simrigs DPR car of Adam Briggs.
I like the fact they're not doing too many tweaks too. They're sitting with that VRS set up, and they're just trying to drive the car with minor tweaks. So they're not trying to get the most out of the car, and they're just getting comfortable with the setups that are very similar each week, obviously depending on the circuit. As it looks like Flock will get a move done there and move up. There you go, Thomas Hinds moves back a couple of positions in the Mustang. So a bit of a brake lock up though just in front of him. Harry Dodds, that is, in the One Performance Racing car. He needs to watch out, because Hinds, a good competitor when it comes to the racing, of course, and understands what it takes. He commits to this overtake manoeuvre, and the 25 will be on the inside run here. It'll just depend on what traction they get out of there, what part of the road they go over, or whether they get a lock up there from Flock. I reckon it is. Huge lock up, and he gets
Daniel
the move done. Hinds on the outside, has nowhere to go, and collects that tyre barrier, sucks him in, and Jaden Borg will... is it Jaden Borg there who
That's
actually...
Daniel.
That's Daniel Lee. What? Can't be that far up the field.
That boy should buy a lotto ticket. He's been lucky every time we've seen him on camera tonight. It's like the pre-show just curses the regular drivers, not the commentators, except me.
No one's going to come on the pre-show after the last few weeks. Sebastian Flock's up 10 positions, though. That's a nice run from him. Now, if Daniel Lee, can we say he's in the top 20? He's on the 20.
He's 20.
I said earlier, and I hate to say this, I'm going to have to go back on what I said. I said, this is the last time we'll say that Daniel Lee's in the top 20, and that was prior to our top 10 going out and doing the single lap shootout. So
the race is still young. He can still crash. It's still possible.
But he's been in the top 20. He's been there. I don't know.
It's a fantastic effort, and he's
more after class.
He's normally in here in the box, dealing with us two Muppets, but he's out there tonight putting on a fantastic show. So well done, Daniel. That's the last time I'm going to say something nice about you tonight.
not going to give it
He
up on
lost
you,
the
though.
position. How bad's that? He's back
Yeah,
in first.
I know. But he hasn't ping-ponged the car yet, so until he does that, you know he's got something to say on the pre-show this week.
I don't
here we
think
go.
anyone can take that from me.
Wade Sheedy on the outside there of Nitschke. Nitschke's going to pull around in the Frog Leap Racing team. Unfortunately, his teammate had a... well, he started off really well, Logan Barnett, but had a shocker there when it's come to race and just involves Vincent. It's gone from 5th place back to 31st, and I'm just trying to see. It looks like he might be out of the race. I'm just trying to see what's going on there. I think no, he looks like he's getting around a little bit still. So good to see. But the Frog Leap Racing guys, Brett Nitschke in P14 at the moment, back one position from where he started out of P13. Just in front of him though, Tom Freer, who's off screen at the moment, is up 12 positions. So despite the damage on that car, he's obviously used the pit stop strategy to, one, get the fast repair done and get himself back in a position where he can make top 10 in this one, Norrie.
And I think that's the thing, because Tom seems to have come out his own little clean piece of air, he's been able to find his own little groove and just stick to doing laps, and which Tom knows how to do. He's done a million of them before, but he's a solid qualifier, Tom Freer, and so just doing laps is sort of his modus operandi, and I think he's doing a great job as he's just running his own race right now, just trying to get back into position.
A bit of a redress here, car 83 to 25, so that's Hins, obviously, and Dodds just redressing an incident from earlier. As you can see, race control message come up there. Yeah, I think you're right with Tom Freer. Oh, no. Oh, that's not Hins, that's Dodds going back. So Daniel Leet, Jordan Ross just goes past Daniel Leet, but Daniel Leet gets past Harry Dodds. So he's hovering around that P20. He's somewhere there.
Harry Dodds had to give that position back to Thomas Hins, so Daniel's still 20-ish.
No, he's one outside the 20. He's one out. Here we go. Flock, as you see up on screen. Greg Sharp has just gone past him, but this is going to be a little bit of a battle now. That is going on for P17 at the moment. Sebastian Flock is up 10 positions, so he definitely has the pace to make the move. He just needs to find the right area, get the right drive, and make sure he commits to this one. You're not going to do it through here without putting a huge risk on getting a penalty there and making contact at any point. So only limited sections around this track where you are able to make a nice clean manoeuvre, if you can get the run, I suppose. I don't want to call it clean, but, you know, where the more opportunistic manoeuvre, I would say, to get by as we head on the board with Jaden Borg now, who has got Kyle Stokes right behind him and Brad Rattu. Now, Brad Rattu qualified quite well. He was 10th fastest, came out in the single lap qualifier, the broadcast one, and P10, and unfortunately that didn't work out for him there. He didn't beat some of the guys there from the previous session, and he ended up coming out of P17, Brad Rattu, so working his way back through the field there. Jaden Borg just holding him up at the moment. Kyle Stokes right behind him, Brad Rattu, and Tom Freer taking full advantage of him. He's lurking in the background in the purple Synergy Sim racing car. You can see what he's doing, but look, Tommy's got the rear wing back on. Anything could happen.
He might have some downforce and some grip to the rear of the car.
Yeah, that's exactly what you need. I mean, it must be a dream to drive after you've lost the boot. You know, you got hardly any aero, the car's banged up, you go and get a fast repair. It must feel so much nicer to drive after doing, you know, they did, what was it, 15 laps before that with no aero, and all of a sudden you get given back just like a gift. Just a big gift that keeps giving.
Lap after lap, and that's the thing. If you've got any damage on these cars, you notice it, and it really does affect your lap speed. So when you get that gift of the rear wing coming back on or the front splitter going back on, it really does feel like a dream to drive. But these cars are still very heavy, tricky beasts to wrangle around any track. Street circuit is no exception, and these guys are doing a fantastic job tonight. As we see Kyle Stokes poking the nose out, he wants to get this move done on Jaden Borg, but Jaden Borg is just saying, no mate, stay there, you're not getting around, I'm having this one tonight. Jaden
can give Daniel some pointers seeing their teammate. That's what I'm saying. Maybe even some pointers about, you know, a bit of defensive driving and what it takes to have some pace out there.
Well, Jaden's been able to keep Kyle behind him for an entire lap, so it's not a bad call.
Yeah. Maybe Dan just doesn't want to upset anyone because they won't come on the pre-show if he upsets them. I don't know. I just don't know. Kyle Stokes. Kyle Stokes. No, you were a ping pong ball. That's what you were. You were just you were not in control of your destiny. Put it that way. When you went out to your lap. I'm not even entering a race. I'm not going to put myself through it. I don't want people to have heart attacks from laughing. But it's all right. Jaden Borg, Kyle Stokes, mate, mirror to mirror, isn't he? Like, hello, I'm on the left, I'm in the right, I'm in the left. He just can't find that where he wants to make that manoeuvre. And like you say, you have to commit. I know Stokes would understand that. So he doesn't quite get the run, and he puts it in the mirrors there and tries to force Jaden Borg to make an error. But unless Jaden Borg's going to do something, slide the car, nudge a wall, do anything, I think Stokes just has to stay behind him and find that one area where he gets that drive and commit to that overtaking manoeuvre. He's not going to get it done here. He would have had to get well and truly on the inside of him under brakes a lot earlier than that.
To give fairness to Kyle, though, the last time we saw Triple Eight in a different series was driven by a famous guy called Craig Lowndes, and he did that tactic in the left mirror, in the right mirror. I'm going to be right behind you, and I'm going to let you know I'm here the whole way. So Kyle maybe takes the leaf out of Lowndes' book, but he's making sure Jaden knows he's right there, mirror to mirror, wall to wall. He's not going to let him get away with this one.
We don't have anyone exiting pit there, which you can see from that vision there is really a bit of an issue here. We go back to a little bit of a replay, though, as we check out Healy in the Taipan Esports car, and a little bit of an incident for him. Scott Weston just in front, and the car's looking way better now. It's repaired. Healy, though, slides the car, locks the brakes up there. It's just messy, isn't it, really, as he turns onto Seaside Way.
I don't think I've ever seen someone flick spin in the middle of the corner before, but good job, Healy.
Lucky no one was there. Here we go. Stokes gets down the inside under brakes. You got to find the drive, though, as you head up Pine Avenue. Like I say, it's a bumpy road. This means Jaden Borg will be on the inside.
Took the words right out of my mouth, Matty. Borg being on the inside of that second corner means he had the defensive line and he was able to take it. There's these guys drag race down East Seaside Way, down into turn 9. Carl Stokes edges ahead, but fence.
Oh, that is a bit of luck.
Collective gas backy.
Look, now he gets sideways there under brakes, doing his teammates behind him, Tom Frere, so they won't want to make contact. Now, let's have a quick chat about Tom Frere. We shouldn't keep doing this, but I'm going to do it. The last couple of weeks, in theory, he's had some really good pit stop strategies, in theory. Unfortunately, it's come unstuck due to safety cars coming out and other sorts of incidents in front of him and all that. It just hasn't played out what he's put into motion. Tonight, though, I think that safety car has actually played in his favour, and he's put himself in a much better position, so he just needs to stay out of trouble.
Yeah, well, the other one was speeding in pit lane at Hockenheim, but no, tonight qualifying for Tom was a bit of a bummer, if you can call it that. Hitting the fence wouldn't have been too nice, but the safety car, like you do say, Matty, has blessed him a little bit. It's put him back up into P13 on the track, and so he's making a solid run tonight. 12 positions gained already, and so he's just biding his time, doing laps, keeping it clean, and having a solid run home. He needs to collect some points, and he needs to outscore Jordan Ross, because Jordan Ross is currently the leader of Synergy Sim Racing in the championship standings.
Yeah, he's coming back now. After the pit stops, he went back to P24. He was right up there, though. Like, he was pushing more along the lines of P12, P11 prior to the pit stops in the safety car. So he lost a number of positions there, which I think might have been some repairs that he's taken on as well. So we might find out a bit more after that and talk about that in the pre-show there with Jordan Ross, because he needs to try and make some moves, remembering that we are on lap 26 of 47, though. So we're past the halfway point at the moment. The tyres are definitely going to be starting to wear at this point, and if we don't see another safety car and we don't see the pits again, how loose are the cars going to be in the final 5 laps around here at Long Beach is the question that we don't know, as the cars get light on their fuel load, because they should make it home, is our calculation, Norrie, isn't it? That with the safety car, even if they got to just lift a little bit on the corners towards the end, they will make it home on the fuel load, but the car's going to be super light and there's not going to be much tyre left on it.
To answer your rhetorical question there, how loose are they going to be? Very, very loose.
Here we go, a bit of a move on here from Mr. Borg. Oh,
Borgie.
Bingle Borgies, he's staying out of the Bingles, he's on the left, he's going to have to tuck him behind. No, he stays in there. Look how good is the experienced race there. Brian Borg pulls in front, Damien Johnson will have to go in behind him. Now Borgie just needs to hold on to this one, because I reckon with Johnson having that run, he's right up under the rear wing, comes down the inside, they come around. It's going to be hard under brakes too in this first corner. Let's see what Borgie does. cool and calm, goes down the gears,
Locks up.
locks the tyre up, scrubs the wall too.
I was just gonna say he's not Bingleborg. It was the best of Borg, but no, it's back to Bingleborg, and he scratched the fence on that one, but still held the position. So that is experience over pace for you. Brian Borg able to keep Damien Johnson at bay, even with a little nudge of the tyres.
Got some work to do for next week, that's all it is. Picks up a bit of that livery on the side. Now Borgie's had some shocking weeks. It's good to see him back in the mix. I mean, hopefully he can hold on to that P4. The next person he's got to run down is Andrew Dyson, but Dyson's nearly 4 seconds in front of him. Here we go now. Oh, car locks up in front as they head down onto Pine Avenue, but getting the move done. Brad Radu makes another position over Jaden Borg and manages to get it done. Kyle Stokes back behind him, and then Tom Freer. Now, Tom Freer hasn't really taken advantage of these three. He's been off the back of this pack for a while. They've been changing positions and moving back and forth. Kyle Stokes with that big lunge a couple of laps ago didn't quite pay off for him. In this section it was, and he ended up pushed all the way back there, and Borgie managed to hold on to P number 7, but now P10. But Brad Ratu now has made that up as I'm checking them out as they go through.
We are safety car.
2, is that 2?
That's
so,
2.
So you and Dan said 2?
Bingo for all of us in the com box.
No, well, I said 3.
Oh, right. So bingo for me and Dan.
Yeah, so I could be out of pocket here this week, and you guys could be up. We'll find out. Let's see who goes into the pit zone and takes advantage of this one. So it might be the dash. Maybe everyone's going to just do the dash and grab tyres, because we're on lap 28.
It's a free pit stop if you want to take it. If you're down the back, you might play that strategy game. Fresh tyres and a little bit of fuel take away all the alleviation for them. Dan Lee taking the stop.
Wow. He needs the tyres, doesn't he?
He needs the pace.
Imagine how much feedback he's getting on his steering wheel from those flat spots where he went into that runoff area earlier. That'd sound like someone beating on the door, wouldn't it? I don't know. Sound like a sewing machine, I reckon, if you're in his place. His steering wheel will be shuddering, but that's all right. So he's taking the pit stop. What will the leaders do, though? This is what we've got to watch. James Scott, Cory Sheppard. One of them take the decision to make sure they get home, fresh tyres. It's going to be very interesting because James Scott isn't going to know what Cory Sheppard's going to do. I don't think they will. I think it'd be silly to do it from these guys at the front. Just hearing on our social media that I'm glad everyone watching is behind Daniel Leet. We mustn't be like Norrie. He's the fastest commentator. I'm not even going to get into this fight because I can tell you that I spent just over half an hour on here at lunch and got 1 lap without touching a wall. So I am not the fastest commentator. I've got the fastest mouth, but definitely not the fastest driving style. Here we go. The Jinx Shifters safety car number 2 is out. The other one's in the shop. We had to get it repaired, the AMG. They don't like the damage as much as the supercars. They're not used to being banged around like the taxis are. So... And do we have a new driver? No, Scott Chambers is out there. So the insurance premium just went up as well. Thanks to AJ Insurance Services. Yeah.
The AMGs aren't cheap. Now, we might say that Daniel Lee is the faster commentator. But yes, that's...
But he's lucky, Lee.
Like ping-ponged off walls. What more did you want?
Yeah. Look, you are the more entertaining commentator. That's
and you're the commentator who's not driving at all, so, you know.
Yeah, I'm
win.
Yeah, I'm like a Tesla. I'm driverless. Okay, so James Scott is still leading this race. We are into lap 29 under our second safety car. So I should actually be writing all this down, shouldn't I? Because when do we have the first safety car? About lap 15.
Lap 14, actually.
Lap 14.
Your memory's good, Matty.
I'm not bad sometimes, hey. So lap 29. Yeah, you don't hear that very often at home, but that's all right. Lap 29, we get our second safety car, and I had 3. You guys had 2. We'll see what happens throughout the race. Now, a few wave rounds going to be happening. People getting back on the lead lap. We're not going to get underway this time, but here it is. Brian Borg, let's talk about him. Got the move done on Damien Johnson, and what an opportunity it was for him to get that move done. Wouldn't have known the safety car's coming out, but took the dive, brushed a wall, making it happen, so took a little bit of damage on the car. But he was nearly 3 seconds off the back of Andrew Dyson, so it would have been very hard for him to catch up. Maybe towards the latter part of the race, he would have got closer to Dyson. Now, though, is the opportunity. the tyres will cool down, whether he can try to keep that heat cycle going, and he can apply that pressure to Dyson and push for a podium. And will we see Borgie back up there in the top 3?
We might. We very well just might. But then Scott, Shepard, Dyson have all been pretty flawless tonight with how they've been driving. I did think that Shepard could have made a dive at Scott during the last safety car, and he just hasn't. So yeah, I'm really hoping Borgie can stick with it tonight. Like we've been saying, he has had a bit of a dip in his performance through this part of the season. So let's hope he makes a return to form. I just do get a bit worried when I see the safety car turning into these corners here. Scotty Chambers really needs to pick up the pace.
AJ Insurance Services, of course, looking after all of our insurance needs when it comes to our Jinx Shifter safety car, and where we've got it in the shop. This is the lone AMG that we've got. All thanks to those guys, and of course, if you need any insurance, go see them, and great for your business, especially for your business broking and stuff like that. Don't forget Sydney Computers as well. They had a special on this week too. One of their, they had something on a graphics card too. So check out Sydney Computers if you need to. And Bowler Media and Sideways Photography. Now, we put some of those up in the pre-race show, but they've been pumping them out on social media, and there's been some absolutely fantastic photography come out of them as well. So it's great to have all the sponsors on board again for the Jinx Shifters AOSC10, and of course simrigs.com as well. Grab yourself it's the difference, isn't it, between being comfortable in your seat if you're going to spend hours on the sim, is get yourself a sim rig, and what better place to do it than simrigs.com, as it looks like the safety car is starting to pull away maybe. Will we see it come in on this lap? Just listening to race control, maybe race control, see if it might head in on this lap. But James Scott leading the race, Andrew Dyson, Borgie behind him. Now, Aaron Dodd's up 3 positions, and he's had an unlucky run last week, involved in incidents that really just unfortunate for him. So he's another one, and P6 at the moment. He's up 3 positions. Could he be another one to get in the mix on this restart over Damien Johnston? He was just on the back watching Brian Borg make that move, so what will Aaron Dodd do? Rob Bowden's up 4 positions too. He's in P8 at the moment in the Tank SRT, and like we say, that team's been building and just progressing week by week by week, but top 10 would be another great finish for him, especially seeing last week he got P9, so if he can beat P9, that'll be pretty good for him, I reckon.
There you go. Safety car's in the lane. 17 laps to go. And slide from Shepard. So this one is really curtailed in effort here. James Scott really gets let off the hook and allowed to run free. Shepard really bogged that one down.
About breaking that aero too down the main straight, isn't it? Like if he can break that aero on the first lap, it's going to make it harder for Shepard to maintain that pace when he's got Andrew Dyson on the back. I mean, Brian Borg would probably let Shepard off the hook a little bit there, being teammates, and obviously that's his little protege. They're doing a great job, Cory Sheppard. Borgie would probably give him a little bit of a reprieve, but Dyson isn't going to. Dyson, he's had a taste of silver, but he'll be he's looking for gold. He wants gold, and if he's got to go through silver to get it, that's what Dyso will do in the Sim Briggs DPR entry. Of course, Briggsy having another unfortunate night, moved up the field and then had a crash and moved back down the field again. But he's back where he started in P7. So, you know, Dyso's got to bring home the DPR team and see what he can do in this one. Brian Borg just on the back of him, Damien Johnson. Then we go back to Aaron Dodd, Adam Briggs in 7. But James Scott pulls away from this one. Here we go, check out the replay on screen at the moment. Brett Nitschke there, as you see Jordan Ross behind him. Another one who's come in, and Nitschke goes wide. Ross gets right under the rear wing, and he's going to put a move on here. Comes down the inside, and contact made. Oh no, Nitschke turns in.
Guarantee that Jordan Ross is going to get a penalty from that one.
Yeah, it didn't look like he was all the way up the inside, did he? And then, lucky leap gets unlucky. Unlucky leap. Is that one. He's come around, nowhere to go. We see Nitschke just tries to back the car up and turn it around. So unfortunate little incident there, which just going through this tight section of the track. There's absolutely no room for a sideways car there, and luck is Wade Sheedy now all over the back of Greg Sharp at the Dakota Simsport entry, and that's carrying a fair bit of damage on the front. That spoiler on the driver's side really almost missing there at this point in time, and you can see maybe a little bit of contact maybe between those two under brakes, but looks like they maintain their positions and they keep going. Reece Keane now is back in P9 at the moment with Brad Ratu all over the back. Remembering that Ratu was 10th fastest in the pre-qualifying session, so he is back in his position that technically he probably should have been in before the single lap shootout. So Ratu has moved back through the field 7 positions, with Reece Keane in front of him in that Sim Briggs entry. Lock up at the brake start in front of him, and Rob Bowden and the Tanked SRT team. He'll be kicking himself over that. Disqualification towing for car 83. So Harry Dodds is towed. He is disqualified from the race now, so that's unfortunate for him. Jordan Ross still in there at the moment. We haven't seen anything come out of race control, but we'll check our screens because that definitely could be something that we see happen a little bit later.
Yeah, just race control needs to take a look at that one, but they will make a pretty fair assertion. I don't think Jordan Ross was up far enough there. Thankfully, I'm in the commentary box and not making the call, but I've made a pretty decisive call. I reckon he'll get a penalty for that one, which is it's going to put pay to his efforts because tonight's been up and down like a yo-yo for him. It hasn't been great running, but Jordan's pretty fast and he's pretty determined to make a run of this one, so he'll have to get it back as we run through on board with Wade Sheedy looking at the back of Greg Sharp's car. And you see as we get really close to the Gerbers there in the roundabouts, it's a fun little track, Long Beach.
It's actually quite good to get around. It's short, so it's not a lot of corners to remember. You get your head around it pretty quick, but it is a greasy track is what I'll say. It's been a street circuit, so you got to slide around. Mickey T there in the 777, Michael Taliantich back on a bit of a charge. Why not? Up 8 positions from where we started. We've seen him, he's had penalties. There we go, Jordan Ross, car 143, gets himself a drive-through penalty, so that's going to hurt him on this one. That's very unfortunate. Michael Taliantich up 9 positions. What's that? 53 positions now he has gained over 3 rounds so far.
Great math, Patrick.
There we go. So Jordan Ross now in the pit lane, and Michael Taliantich gifted another positions up, 10 positions at the moment in the 777.
So we're hearing from the pit lane that Jordan Taliantich took tyres in that safety car just recently, so that's why he's got fresher rubber under him and he's making that charge.
When you're on the back there, why would you? Jaden Borg, is that what I'm hearing from race control as well?
Yep.
I've taken tyres as well. So why wouldn't you? I mean, what have you got to lose at the back? Michael Taliantich has done this for the last 2 rounds. He's just made life difficult for himself, really, is the easiest way to say it.
It's been evidenced with Taliantich. He's up 10 positions because what do you do at the back? You don't do much, but you put fresh tyres on, you make 10 positions.
That's exactly right. I mean, just gifted that one there as, of course, Jordan Ross had form for a couple of rounds and then his unlucky streak has come back. Mr. Ross, maybe that's because you drove his car around this week.
I was just looking at the Synergy garage and one was unlucky, it was purple, one was unlucky, it was yellow, so it wasn't me.
What did you do to his car throughout the week? You weren't using the Scotty M illegal motor, were you?
No, not at all. I was using the Jordan Ross illegal motor.
Yeah. Well, I think you done something. You left a nut loose in his suspension or something. It really hurt him this week. I don't know. It's definitely got to be the Norris navigation curse, maybe. I don't know. Hopefully it's not. Cory Sheppard still P2 at the moment, but he slid the car out on the restart after this safety car and just gave that little bit of a gap there to James Scott and got out of the aero just enough, I think, for James Scott now to pull away, which he hasn't been able to do throughout the entire race. He's got nearly 2 seconds in front of him as we look at this little battle that's going on down the back of the pack. Well, not down the back, but a bit further back. It's Keane leading it in P9, Ratu in 10th, Stokes in 11th, and Freer is still hanging off the back of this little train. He doesn't have to worry too much. Looks like Thomas Hinds is a little way back there. You can see him a couple of seconds further back, and he's going to have to look out for a hard charge and Mickey T coming through pretty quickly. But Tom Freer, I don't think he can be nice to his teammate for much longer. Ratu on the brake, slides it out, but he gets it back in there. Freer will get past. Willie's on the outside. Fingers crossed Freer gets through because he's had an unlucky run. He pulls in tight here. Radu will go wide and Freer now will take that position. Let's see how the run goes down as they head down to the start-finish line and back into turn number 1 around the Bridgestone bend. But Freer needs to hold on to this one. Every position is important in his battle to get into the top 10. Kyle Stokes back into the 10 now. Reece Keane still in 9. Radu gets the position back though and gets him under brakes there. So I'm wondering how much of the tyres Tom Freer has chewed up as he's tried to push on here at the moment, because he's been nice sitting behind, obviously, his teammate, Kyle Stokes. and really hasn't applied that much pressure as he bumps the wall a little bit too. Gives that a little bit of a nudge there, slides the car out, and there you go, the telltale signs. He's trying to hold on to that one.
He just looks like he's driving around at 85%. He's not giving it his maximum effort, so I'm not too sure what's going on with Tom Freer tonight. He was obviously involved in that melee in qualifying then a bit earlier on in the race, so he's now going to get a cob with Brad Rattu as the rear end of that car steps out. But yeah, not a great run for these guys tonight.
Look, and Tom Freer, they'll cop a little bit of damage on the car, but it looks like it will not try and affect him too much. Now, car number 11 has gone towed, and that is obviously Brad Doble from BDR Racing, and we saw him with a heap of damage on earlier, so he's another one who's sustained quite a bit of damage. Now, Hins comes through as well on Rattu. Now, Rattu, it's almost like he has wasted the tyres. He's gone out, he's done about a minute-long skid on them, and they're down to the canvas. That's what it looks like, because he is sliding everywhere and has lost all little bits of race pace that he had. So Hins made that pretty easy in the 25, made it through as well, and he's catching up to Tom Freer. So I wonder with the setup of the car, whether it's a setup they've put in the car that's a lot happier under new tyres and doesn't really like the used tyres on the back of it. Maybe that's what it is. As we look up there, Daiso now sandwiched between these two in the Premier Racing team, and Borgie will be happy just to be up in the top 10 once again and having a bit of a dream run here tonight. We've called him Bingle Borgie for the last couple of rounds because he just seems to be involved, but he doesn't really have anyone under his rear spoiler at the moment. He's on the back of Dyson, and in front of him is his teammate, and if his teammate's in front of him, he knows he's somewhere in the top 10. It would be uncharacteristic not to see Cory Sheppard up there as a lock-up here, and Dyson with an opportunity. Oh, Sheppard, is he just succumbing to the pressure here? Just wanting to get further up the podium. Like last week, we've seen him make that error in the final couple of laps, and Scott managed to get the lead back where he really shouldn't have, and Dyson goes to the outside. Sheppard has to be a little bit defensive on the inside here.
I wonder if Cory's hit the wall there somewhere, because he's just fallen 4 seconds back off James Scott. In the first couple of stints, he was right with him the whole way. So I'm interested to see why that form has dropped off. But Dyson here looking really, really purposeful. He wants to get a second podium in a row, and it looks like he wants to take position 2 off Cory Sheppard. Yeah, and Dyson, I wouldn't risk it with all these cars sliding around, the tyre wear, everyone's getting really loose. I mean, Brian Borg was very lucky. He got that move done on Damien Johnson just before the safety car. Now, Dyson probably is in the same position. He needs to get a move done on Cory Sheppard, because I'm still preempting that we could still see another safety car. Now, if you're stuck behind Cory Sheppard, the laps start ticking down. You lose that opportunity. Especially when you've got Cory Sheppard's teammate Brian Borg right behind you. So he's in a Premier Racing team sandwich. He's made the move, and he's got through on the inside. He hasn't waited for the corner to be right. He's waited for the corner to be right around the hairpin, and he's making this drag race down the main straight. Sheppard just went wide there. I don't know what it was, and then he just brushed the wall as well in the Mr. Antenna car. So maybe that damage is, maybe he's got a turned steering wheel or something. Maybe some issues with the steering there at the moment, or maybe he's had a failure in his sim, because that's not what he wants to see. And as we know, the Simrigs DPR cars have been really good under race conditions when it comes to their setup. Adam Briggs, unfortunately, tonight maintaining his spot in P7, but Daiso is having a nice little run here and manages to get up into the silverware now in P2. Now, mate, fingers crossed for him. He's got every finger crossed saying, hey, give us a safety car. I need to close that gap, because it is 5.5 seconds up to James Scott. You're on lap 39, so, we've got 8 laps left in this race. 8.5 laps say that, and 5 seconds is a big gap to close down on who is our championship leader and dominating once again this season. I mean, he is, 11 wins out of 10 wins out of 11 rounds. So, James Scott, Dyson needs a safety car if he's going to challenge him, is what I'm saying. Well, he's got the beard on board, but he needs to get some pace and some time back on circuit to really challenge James Scott here. I'm not saying you're wrong, Matty, but I've only predicted 2 safety cars, so I'm not saying how he's going to get that third one to get home, but it's a street circuit, and anything is possible.
And looking up to Tom Freer in the background there in P11, his teammate just in front of him, of course, that is Kyle Stokes. And then Reece Keane, Rob Bowden's still in P8, so he's stuck there. He hasn't been able to take advantage of that restart. Aaron Dodd's still stuck behind Damian Johnson in position number 6 too. So they're getting around the Tank SRT team. He's got some clean air though. We head back, and Dodd's not giving up though on this one. So Damian Johnson in P5 just in front of Aaron Dodd. Dodd maintaining that pressure on the back and not doing anything silly at this point. Probably trying to bring the car home in the top 10 after the weeks they've had as he slides the car around. That's what we see. The tyres are starting to wear now. It's starting to get trickier and trickier for these drivers. It's come on lap after lap, which has probably been, I reckon if they got out here and they hadn't been doing so many laps on these tyres, it'd almost be undrivable. But it's just been those slow condition changes as they get around. But those that took tyres in the last pit stop were down the back of the pack. They took the risk. And I'm just having a look at where Mickey T's gone. He's in P14 at the moment behind Brad Ratu, who has been lost a whole lot of pace all of a sudden about 3 laps ago and had a number of people go past him. So Michael Taliancic now will get past, and obviously gone past Jaden Borg, and now looking at Brad Ratu in his front window and seeing if he can make that happen in the next few laps as well.
Yeah, back to the battle with Cory Sheppard and Ryan Borg. You see, Brian was right up behind Cory, but he's just dropped off that little bit. I want to know if he's being the team player and he's letting his protege get the trophy, or if he's actually going to try and take the position off him. Because let's face it, it's been a pretty lean run for Brian Borg these past couple of races.
Yeah, it has been, but some of it has been his fault. I mean, he has had some issues there and hasn't bounced back from them, but this is where we expect to see him. No, lock up of the brakes, not for Bingle Borgie. We can't have it happen. We want to see him bring this car home. Just in a top 10 finish, I reckon he'd be pretty happy this week, just to sort of find that form once again for Borgie as he goes through from the Premier Racing team. Gets the wheel up off the ground there as he takes a whole heap of curb. He's going to have to keep a little bit of pace on though, because Damian Johnson and Aaron Dodd, although they're in this nice little battle, Aaron Dodd's not right under the rear wing, and I think they're still maintaining some pace here. I'm just having a look at the last laps there for Aaron Dodd. He did a 1:21.03, a 1:21.09 for Damian Johnson, and a 1:21.03 for Brian Borg. So quite evenly paced there. As Borgie did a 1:21.03. So they're starting to make some moves there now. We just completed the last laps, and I just noticed they've gone just into the 120s for Aaron Dodd and Damian Johnson compared to. So they're a little bit faster than Borgie, who's dropping off the pace from Cory Sheppard and Andrew Dyson.
And maybe that's tactical. Maybe that's so that he gives some room to his teammate. But this battle here with Kyle Stokes and Tom Freer just has remained status quo for this end of the race, as they're trying to get Reece Keane and get that position up into the top 10. It's been quite a remarkable run from Tom Freer and Thomas Hinz, both respectively up 14 positions.
Yeah, not where they wanted to be come qualifying, and Tom Freer involved a fair bit of damage on his car. Mickey T, oh no, Ratu goes sideways. Mickey T makes it through. Ratu, that corner is very familiar to him. I reckon that's almost got his livery down that tyre wall.
He did a fantastic job to get out of there really quickly, but he's leaving half the car on the side of the wall. What you say, mate?
Now he's got to watch out too, because Jaden Borg is putting all the pressure on him there. I think Michael Taliancic just closed his eyes and hoped for the best, because his run lately has not had any whatsoever ounce of luck there. As Tom Freer just shows it on the inside there. He's not going to have the pace over Johnson though. Over Stokes, sorry. And we'll slot in back behind, but just looks like he's ready to make another run to the final few laps here as we're on lap number 43 of 47. So with that in mind, we've got 4.5 laps left to run in this race at the moment. Marty Hanson's crashed, Brent Nitsky's crashed, Braden O'Loughlin's crashed. It's all happening on the event screen. Plenty going on in the background. And there we go. So nice little battle there. To check out the replay here up on screen, and that's Marty Hanson. Marty the party as he comes around. That car carrying a heap of damage already, and into the back That's what's happened there, and that's Braden O'Loughlin and the Frog Leap Racing being turned around, and I dare say that's the Marty party is going to start a little bit early there, because I reckon he's going to get a little bit of trouble from race control for that one.
Yeah, it's not going to be too nice from Marty Hansen if race control will have a bit further of a look at that one.
Oh, well, it's going to be interesting as we finish off this race. James Scott, what do you say? 6.7 seconds is almost the gap. Like, he's just, he can, I don't want to say it, but he, you know, like, now's the point. Does he keep pushing, or you know, you've settled into that rhythm? There's just no point trying to push the car. He can drop himself half a second a lap and not really worry too much. As you can see, a fair bit of damage on the front of Damien Johnson's car there on the passenger side. The wheel is hanging out, so the spoiler's got a bit of damage onto it. Don't know how much that's going to affect him too much at this point. Like we said, loads will be starting to lighten for those guys that didn't go in and grab tyres and a bit of a dash of fuel. So, yeah, that's going to be interesting to see how they go. As the car starts slowing. Who's that in the background? I reckon that was who we saw, Marty Hansen, maybe in the background there as he pulled up on the side. It looked like the livery of him. So we do have a car in the middle of the track. So I am getting something out of race control that Cory Sheppard was the lap 36, hit the wall in turn number 1, which might be why we've seen him drop off. Check out a replay though of Party Marty. Car's not turning, he's pulled over. He's just letting everyone go, is he?
He's just having a party with those spectators underneath that brolly on the right hand side. So he's just having a party on his own. The point you make about James.
That was the bar, wasn't it?
The point you make about James Scott though is he does have a 6-second lead over the field, so he can afford to have a bit of a relax here. The thing about street circuits is if you do relax, sometimes you miss your braking marker and make a mistake. So I would advise he doesn't let up, but for the entertainment value, I would advise he does let up.
Oh, here we go, and just outside the top 20 is the man we need to talk about once again. Lucky Lee. Lucky Lee is 21. Will he come home in the top 20 and make him the fastest commentator of AOSC history?
No.
No. Are you a little bit jealous we're not calling him Ping Pong Lee?
Yes.
From this.
If my title remains the most entertainment-filled commentator driver in AOSC, yeah. I'm happy, but no, Ping Pong Leet has done a great job tonight.
Yeah, no, he's Lucky Leet, mate. He's done it right, and anything can happen because there's some guys there who are sliding the cars around at the moment as they get very light on fuel. The tyres are worn. We've only got a few laps left in this race. It looks like we've only got 2 to go, and Damien Johnson up on screen with Aaron Dodd behind, and Dodd's made a little bit of an error there and let him off the hook, and a little bit of a gap opening up now. Dyson is obviously got Cory Sheppard all over the back of him. Brian Borg's backed out of that fight just a little bit, like you say, might be giving a little bit of an aero advantage to his teammate there, so he's not under the rear wing now. Cory Sheppard has a little bit of damage on the car, and he doesn't look like he's got the pace there as he just nudges the wall again to try and challenge, because you have to be so committed here to make a pass on this track. And under brakes, I would be very nervous to try and get Daiso under brakes somewhere at the moment. James Scott, you would think, would win this race from here, as we're not far off the final lap for James Scott. He'll be somewhere out there, and he'll be way in front at the moment. So we're talking nearly 7 seconds of a lap. So that's a huge difference there as they head around. Up on screen at the moment, though, it's Stokes chasing down Reece Keane, who's in front. He's got his teammate behind him, Tom Freer. Scott comes around the final corner, though. He heads down the main straight. We're about to get into the final lap here of the Jinx Shifters. AOSC10 round number 12 from Long Island, race 187. It's another Friday night here at AOSC, bringing you the broadcast. You can see Keane just holding out Stokes, and Tom Freer in the background bringing home the Synergy Sim Racing train there. Rob Bowden, look at that, the 16. Proud goes around into the final lap of this race. Scott's opened up the gap now to 7 seconds, back to Daiso. Then you got Cory Sheppard with that mistake he made on lap 36 where he's brushed the wall, lost that position too into P3. He can still make a move, but he's got less than a lap to make it happen. It's down to 0.3 of a second, the gap between Daiso and Sheppard. Brian Borg just backs out of the fight a bit now in P4, but good to see him back in the mix. P5's Damien Johnson with Aaron Dodd behind him. I don't think Dodd's going to get that move done. You see him back off out of that one a little bit earlier the last couple of laps. Adam Briggs maintains P7. Rob Bowden now in P8 with a little bit of clean air. 9 is Keane, Stokes and Tom Freer. That's where the battle's going to be. It's for P9. What will those three do? As you see James Scott up on screen now. He comes around to the final corner. Just has to make this stick. It's a nice run home and looks like the Logitech G Autos Esports team will get another win. James Scott will make it 11 wins from 12 rounds here in AOSC10, and what an amazing feat that is. Came out of pole position as well. Then it's back to Andrew Dyson, Simrig's DPR, Cory Sheppard, Brian Borg, 3 and 4 in the Premier Racing team. Damien Johnson home in 5th, Aaron Dodd in 6th, Briggs in 7th, Rob Bowden in 8th, Reece Keane holds on to 9, Damien Johnson, Kyle Stokes in 10, Tom Freer in 11. Hinds will come round in 12th now. Michael Talianchich, 11 positions. Oh, man, Mickey T brings it home in 13. Jaden Borg in 14. Wade Sheedy in 15. Greg Sharp, 16. Look, Dan, what can you do? Can you bring it home in the top 20? The 5:27, will he make it? I don't know. Scott Weston on screen at the moment, just holding on to piece 17. Can he make this one happen? He's got, obviously, a couple of people in front of him. As we know Sheedy has passed it there, but a couple of cars still coming around to complete their laps. Nice. Here we go, the run down. Who is going to make it there? Goes past, and that's a lap car there. So Sheedy will limp the car home in the background there. Scott Weston makes it. Matty Brunt there. Can he hold on to this one? Jordan Ross, will he pull out last moment or just push his teammate over? Oh, they go over. Jordan Ross right behind him in P9. Braden O'Loughlin makes it home in 20, and D-Leet, he won't make it home in the 20, but look, hands, I'll give it to him, all respect. He's done way more laps than I could do in half an hour today. He's completed way more and he's been out there for way longer. So Daniel Leet holding on to 21st at the moment. Looks like you bring that home. So Daniel Leet 21st, Marty the Party in 22nd, Marty Hansen. And goes Jamie Dyke, Brad Ratu, Craig Healy, Brett Nitschke, Brad Doble, Harry Dodd, Sebastian Flock, Logan Barnett, Tyson McAvoy. All right, there they are. They're your qualifying results. James Scott qualified first, Cory Sheppard second, Andrew Dyson third. That's how it all started in qualifying after we had that single lap shootout with the top 10. James Scott holds on to that win, though, and he will finish in P1. So James Scott gets himself another win. Andrew Dyson, though, got the move done on Cory Sheppard after he made a mistake on lap 36. Sheppard comes home in third. They still get some of the bronze, I suppose. Brian Borg back to a bit of form there in fourth. Damien Johnson in fifth. Aaron Dodd in sixth. Breaks that unlucky run he had last week. Adam Briggs in 7th. Rob Bowden in 8th was a nice result for him. Reece Keane in 9. Kyle Stokes in 10. Tom Freer comes back with some great pit stop strategy there for P11. Thomas Hinds holds on for P12. Michael Talianchich, Mickey T. Well, 11 positions now. So that is 55 positions in 3 rounds he's made. Jaden Borg in 14th. Wade Sheedy in 15th. Greg Sharp in 16th. Scott Weston in 17. And Matty Brunt in 18. We move on to P19 there, and Jordan Ross managed to push his teammate home of Matthew Brunt, like literally pushed him across the line, Jordan Ross in the Synergy Sim racing car. And then it was Braden O'Loughlin, obviously, from Frog Leap Racing, made it home. Daniel Leet in 21st, the privateer, do we call him? No, Coda Sim Sports entry, and, of course, representing the AOSC commentary team. Marty Hansen in 22, Jamie Dyke in 23, Brad Ratu in 24, Craig Healy in 25th, Brenton Nitschke in 26, Sebastian Flock, unfortunately, in 27th, and Logan Barnett now. He started out of P5 on the grid. The single lap shootout really favoured him, but just got caught up in incidents and faster cars going by him. So he ends up in 28th for Logan Barnett, unfortunately. Then we've got a couple. We've only got one after him, which is Tyson McAvoy in the One Performance Racing, who came home in 29, and and then Scott Chambers. What do we say about him? Our Jinx Shifters safety car Norrie. I mean, he's using our AJ insurance up, isn't he? Really? Like,
yes.
There it goes. Like, now we're going to have to pay more next time we have to make an insurance claim. That's all I'm saying. So
yeah, Scotty Chambers has used the insurance on the Jinx Shifters safety car, but in fairness to him, it's the first time he's stuffed up all year, so it's probably about time it's due, round 12.
Joining us in the commentary booth is our leader in the series points, and our winner of round number 12 here at Long Beach, James Scott. No surprise we're talking about P1 again.
Hey guys. That was a tough race out there. Tricky track. But glad to come over with the win.
Were you pretty happy on the second safety car restart when Cory Sheppard actually, I don't know if you noticed, he didn't get the start behind you, actually slid the car a little bit, but did you get him out of your slipstream at that point? Because that's when you really started to pull away from the rest of the pack.
Yeah, I'm not sure quite what happened. I think I pulled the same gap in the first safety car. I think it's really hard at this track at a restart to get a good jump on the leader because of how tight the hairpin is. And if you try and go with him, you're probably going to get sideways, which is maybe what happened to him. But yeah, I felt like the car was pretty good tonight. I really haven't been happy with the races since iRacing did these few updates on the car, but we went a little bit different tonight, and it seemed to be a lot better.
Now I have to ask, the last two rounds you haven't qualified first, but you also said you hadn't done a lot of laps of those tracks. Long Beach, have you done a lot of laps around here?
No, but I think as a whole, everyone's sort of in the same boat. Being a new track that's come out only a few months ago, I think everyone's still pretty new to the track.
Yeah, no, it is, and it definitely helps you in your championship chase again. I mean, an incredible amount of wins in AOSC10 in season number 10, and we congratulate you. I mean, who do you need to thank?
Obviously all the guys at Altus Esports. We've been really working hard to get these setups a bit better. We've been really struggling with some tire life, but we think we're onto something. It was definitely better tonight, but we'll have to keep moving it forward to stay at the front of the field. But obviously all our great partners as well, we couldn't do it without them. Logitech G, Astro Gaming, Cube Controls, Own 3D, Race Tech Seats, Virtual Racing School, and Sam Blacklock Media.
Mate, 35 wins in AOSC now in your time here in the series over its time, and congratulations on another one. We look forward to, obviously next round though, you got the big enduro. Do you know who you're teaming up with?
No, I'm not sure who I'm teaming up with yet. I'm a little bit blessed, yeah, I guess you could say, of the guys I've got in the team that are willing to help out. I'm not sure who I'll be driving with yet, but I'm sure, no doubt, they'll be able to do a great job.
Yeah, I reckon you're all on a very similar level there. So good luck at Silverstone next week, and who knows, we could be talking to you once again.
No worries. Thanks, guys.
Oh, well, just the domination again, Norrie, of James Scott, and bringing that home. And they say that they think they found the right setup in the car. I mean, he's still been bringing it home with wins, and they haven't been happy with the car, Norrie. That's just incredible.
Yeah, that's when ping pongers like me really do have to wonder what we're doing wrong. But if you can come home with not great setup and still bring home a win, it's just testament to the dominance James has been showing all season.
And bringing home the first of the Beards, and obviously another team that's getting their head around the setup there and starting to come home with a few virtual trophies in the cabinet is Andrew Dyson. Came home in P2 tonight, mate. Congratulations.
Thanks, guys. Yeah, I think that's probably one of the first P2s I've got that I kind of didn't have fall into my lap. So that was a good fun race, and a lot of fun with Cory there. So yeah, good stuff.
How did you go with the tyre degradation throughout the race? I mean, you had to complete a number of laps there with that early pit stop due to the safety car.
Well, yeah, the tyre thing, even before we got into the race and we even had that safety car, we really had no idea what the tyre life was going to be like because we haven't really ran a whole lot of laps here. With another league on this weekend, we've been doing some laps there, and so we haven't really done any long runs around here, and guessing our way along. We set up a little bit, but anyway, once we did take that early pit stop, probably wasn't too bad. I think the rears ran away, but it would have been the same for everybody, so it wasn't too bad.
Oh, yeah, with the amount the cars were sliding around, I think you're right. Everyone was in the same boat, but I mean, a fantastic result from you and the team. Unfortunately, Briggsy couldn't be in there. A 2 and a 4 would have been something different.
Yeah, it would have been something different for us, but where did he actually end up finishing? I think
he's back in P7 where he started. So he had a crash. He had a crash at some point. He brushed the wall. Yeah, not a bad one, just a brush to the wall. So,
Oh well, yeah, no, that's having a go. There's nothing wrong with that.
yeah, no, well, he did have the pace that you had, mate. So I tell you what, the car setup obviously suits your driving a little bit better.
Maybe tonight, maybe this time, but yeah, I mean, it goes both ways. You know, most of the time you'll probably find Briggs is faster, but you got to take the 1-ups when you can get them. I guess, you know, we kind of use that to egg each other on.
Oh, mate, we'll let you thank your sponsors.
Oh, I've just been informed I've got 4 more podiums than him. Well, that's just, I've had a few lucky ones, and he probably missed the race where he would have had a podium easily, I'd say. There was that one at Road America, but yeah, I'll take them. Anyway, yeah, thanks to all the boys in the team. Thanks to you guys for putting on the broadcast. Thanks to all the guys at AOSC for putting together the race league, the league. Thanks to simrigs.com, Southwell Lifts and Hoists, Baymax Mechanical, BetSmart Racing Service, and MP Designs for the paint jobs. And cheers, guys.
I tell you what, you head to Silverstone for the big 650 race next weekend. So rest the arms up, mate. It's going to be a busy one.
Yeah, it will be. I'm looking forward to that one. I like Silverstone, and I think Briggs goes all right. He's done well there in the past, so we'll be pretty all right, I reckon.
maybe you can teach him to bring home silver instead of bronze.
Hey, hasn't he got a silver before? Come on.
Yeah. Oh, not this season, has he?
Maybe, I don't know, Matt. I'm pretty sure he has. Yeah, yeah, we did. Yeah, we got a silver this season.
Yeah, but you're doing better than him, mate. That's all right.
No. He knows what to do.
You can teach him the way. You lead the way home, mate. You bring the car home for him. It's fantastic to catch up with you, mate. Good luck next week, and hopefully you're back on the podium again in the Simrigs DPR car.
All right, cheers, boys. Hopefully see you next week.
Okay, we move on to third place tonight, and hard fought, and it is a street circuit, which always makes it tricky. But the young gun Cory Sheppard, you've joined us in the commentary box, mate. Not the P2 we thought you were going to come home with only 10 laps left, but you managed to get it home and get a podium finish.
Yeah, I was happy to finish on the podium. Yeah, the race was pretty good. Probably didn't have just enough pace to challenge James, but the car was good the whole way. And then on the last restart, I kind of lit him up a little bit and kind of had issues from there on. But yeah, it was a good race.
How do you find the street circuit compared to a racetrack?
It's definitely more tricky. There's a lot more on the line, so a lot more risk versus reward with all the walls and things, especially in qualifying. But yeah, they're really fun.
And I bet you it was nice to see Brian Borg in your mirrors this time, mate, to have him back up there in the top 5 again with you.
Yeah, it was. He did really well tonight. So yeah, it was a good result for the team.
Yeah, he's had a bit of a bad luck there, but look, mate, you grab yourself a heap of points there too, and you hold out Andrew Dyson at bay in the championship as well. A P3 behind him's not a bad finish, especially after last week, which was a bit unlucky for you. But congratulations to Mr. Antenna Mustang. Is there anything else anyone else you need to thank?
I need to thank my sponsor, Mr. Antenna, all the guys at Premier Racing Team, and you guys for putting on the broadcast.
Thanks, mate. Well, congratulations. You're really showing a lot of maturity in your racing now, and it's coming along. And mate, it's coming. The wins are coming. It's just got to hold on for them.
Hopefully. Thanks, guys.
Oh, there he is, Cory Sheppard coming in P3 tonight. And look, the champion of commentators, the fastest commentator we have in the AOSC is what the social media have called him. We call him Lucky Leet. Daniel Leet joins us here in the commentary box.
Fellas.
How was that, Dan? I mean, Norrie's not going to talk to you now for the rest of the season because you didn't ping pong the car.
Well, look, after making a meal of qualifying where I dropped it into turn 1 like I'd always done, it was good. Tried to keep my nose clean, caught up at the back end, and just came home at the end.
How difficult was the street circuit?
It was interesting. It's very different mindset driving these cars over a GT, which I'm predominantly used to. So that took the best part of a week to try and get that out of my head. But the cars were good. Once you get into that rhythm, they're nice and easy to drive.
Also, does that mean you're going to take over Norrie's navigation?
We might rock, paper, scissors for it.
Oh, Norrie, what are you going to say, mate? Are you going to talk to him at all?
No. Honestly, Dan, well done, mate. To come home 21st. You didn't make the elusive 20, but you were there once, so we'll give it to you. But no, you did a great job, mate. And I did see some damage on the car, so I do know you hit a wall somewhere. So I feel less bad.
It wasn't a wall. It was a car off the exit of 4, I think it was, where you start riding the wall. So apologies to whoever that was who was parked nose in. I couldn't clear you on the exit. But no, it was good. Really enjoyed it.
Oh, mate. Well, look, there's always a bit of life here as a safety car driver because we might have to get a new one for next season. I'm sure you'll see that later when you watch the replay, but...
You're turning through them, Mr. Hauser last year, Chambers this year. Geez, we don't want to change them too often.
Oh, look, AJ Insurance Services, they're great supporters here of the series, but they, the premiums keep going up. The premiums keep going up every time our safety car driver crashes a car. So, we just can't afford it. We've got to get another safety car driver next season.
We'll see how that goes. But no, very comfortable to be in the box. Looking forward to getting back in there next week.
Oh, guys, everyone who's been watching us out on the broadcast, I want to thank you again for joining in again this week. And a big shout out to our sponsor, of course, Jinx Shifters, our series sponsor. And, of course, great products if you want to grab them there, the brake bias adjusters and the shifter and everything else they do. Also, big shout out to simrigs.com, Sydney Computers, Trackcam for Gourmets, a Pure Driving School, Bowler Media and Sideways Photography. We'll get all the photos out later in the week on social media. Of course, Race Circuit Art Australia, helping us out with all of our trophies and everything like that. Check them out. And AJ Insurance Services for fixing up the Jinx Shifters AMG safety car this week. Can't thank everyone enough for joining in. Don't forget, next week we've got the big 650 race. So the two guys will team up, or two drivers will team up to take on Silverstone. It's going to be an absolutely huge one. Norrie, can't wait for it.
No, absolutely. Silverstone's always a great circuit, and having a 650 there, it's going to add to the excitement of it. 650s traditionally this season have been quite exciting to watch and have always gone down to the wire. So it'll be interesting to see exactly what Silverstone's going to do for our competitors next week. It'll be good to be back in the box with good old Dan Lee.
Thanks everybody for watching.